here's the thing about Vice golf balls for me. Before I even worked with them, I saw a dude at a PGA Tour event wearing a hat that said Vice Golf. And I was like, what is that logo? Fast forward a couple years later, Vice comes over and they say, hey, look, we want to partner with you in everything you do. And I was like, I love it. The interesting thing is that just by playing the golf ball, they've built a community around the people that play them. This is to be clear, a Vice ball is not made for an inferior player. Like, this is a high-performing golf ball. There's no way you can tell me there's a better golf ball. Impossible.
Welcome into our live stream for Hand Raise Guys. I'm Neal. That's Chase. You probably know us by now. If you don't know us by the end of this day, we don't know really what to tell you. If you just stumbled in, if you happen to stumble in, welcome to the big show. We're going to start a audio in a minute. Ben Mintz will join us. Then we'll take your calls on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Talk about whatever you want for however long as you would like to.
Within reason.
Within reason,
I mean,
of course. We got my Bengals having the white out at what used to be Paul Brown Stadium. Bengals playing the undefeated Miami Dolphins. Look at that. It looks fantastic.
It does look really good.
It's a cool stadium. I like Cincinnati. It's a cool stadium. Got Battle of Utah State and BYU on the other TV.
It feels like the Cougars are going to handle that one.
I would think. Give that a little while, then we'll do some switching. A lot of stuff up on the site and all that. We'll talk.
I heard some more stuff on Some of the
Yeah. I've talked about it.
yeah.
Talking about John Hartwell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heard a little more.
I
This
think
morning.
that's real.
Yeah. Me too.
How about that? John Hartwell and Hugh Freeze at Auburn. I mean, it's not Hugh Freeze at Mississippi State, but I can make it work.
You can make Hugh Freeze at Auburn work, can't you?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
You're like, hey, I didn't get exactly what I want, but you know what? We're gonna be all right.
It's like the kid who asked for a certain bicycle for Christmas, and he didn't get that one, but he got one that was almost just as cool. And by the end of the Christmas day, he's like, you know what? I like this bike better.
It's green instead of red or something, but it's gonna be all right.
And I like the green now that I think about it. Yeah, it's that. All right, we'll get rolling on the our audition file. We'll make this a couple of podcasts tomorrow on our podcast network. There's a handful of podcasts up and available to you.
Yeah, we're chasing numbers a little at this point. We'll be honest, as the night is getting near.
Today's the final day of the month. Obviously, tomorrow is so.
Yeah.
But it cuts off at a certain hour tomorrow.
Oh, does it really?
Uh-huh.
We don't get the whole day.
We don't get till like midnight. It's like 6, and we're really close to a plateau that we didn't think we'd get to. And so we're pushing hard.
And I mean, at the end of the day, like, does it make really any difference? No, it's
not
just
really.
an arbitrary thing that is there.
It matters to us. Exactly. All right, let's see. I was a little worried about connection there for a minute, but I think we're all right.
Well, that's what we need today. Oh, God, we're going to be really close.
Yeah, it's going to be right there.
I mean, I just went over there, and
if the over-under is like 42, it's a 21-20 game. Just we need someone to kick a field goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know why you wanted this up tonight.
Yeah, you're damn right. I mean, it means nothing other than something to me. It's like, are you competitive? Yeah, just a little bit. With what? Everything. All right, let's get started here.
Welcome in Thursday night, hand raise guys. Neal McCready, Chase Parham. We're going to talk to Ben Mintz coming up here on the show. He's in Barstool Sports, gambling, college football, NFL, and more. And in front of us, we have the Bengals and the Dolphins on here for Thursday night football, Amazon Prime. Those are some sharp all-white uniforms that the Bengals are wearing tonight.
Fantastic.
That is great. That is awesome.
I've got the jersey. I'm all in on this Bengals game. So if things get bad, I'm going to have to put it on just to will the guys to a win. I've got the Bengals -4 in my competition with Tyler, and I'm just a Bengals fan in general. So I'm all in today.
We've got BYU and Utah State. They're playing for the wagon wheel or the old wagon spoke or wagon something or other.
Playing for the wagon.
Yeah, something like that. BYU is like a 20-something point favorite. This is not the normal Utah State. They are not very good this year.
I wonder if Gunnar Romney is related to Mitt Romney.
Well, you would have to think to
right?
some degree,
to some
right?
Degree, yeah.
It would be a really odd coincidence if not.
Huh.
Is it Gunner? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Gunner.
Okay.
That's a beautiful stadium. Doesn't Ole Miss play there in a few years?
Yeah, they do. You interested?
Oh, I mean, that setting just then with the mountains in the background was fantastic.
I don't know. I'm kind of looking.
Okay.
One of his siblings played quarterback at Baylor. He's from Arizona. So maybe
no,
not.
Probably not. How about that? What a coincidence.
Yeah, parents are Jenny and Cade. 3 siblings, including former quarterback Baylor Romney. Oh, sorry. He was at BYU. His name is Baylor.
Okay.
Wife's name is Sadie, and he is an economics major.
Okay.
So that is your
In case you're wondering, and if you are, God bless you, South Carolina's leading South Carolina State 15-0. They played that game early because they're worried. 15-0. They're worried about the
they went for 2.
The storm. These are questions that I don't know. Maybe they have 5 field goals. I don't know. It beats me.
No, they were up 8-0.
Oh, then they scored a touchdown.
Or they had a safety and then missed a kick.
Maybe so.
One or the other. The Oxford Exxon podcast. The Oxford Exxon tomorrow is spaghetti and meat sauce is the special. It's what starts fights around here. We get to talking about spaghetti and things happen. You can get any size fountain drink, bread, and more as well. If you're coming to town, a lot of you are. You're already here, damn it. You can have the town. I saw this afternoon. The town is yours at this. Yeah, it's full.
Yeah, that's why the whole
the town is packed today.
The conversation that we've had all week was so stupid. And I feel so validated because it was idiotic. You knew what was coming this weekend. And in fact, that was one of the reasons that last weekend was what it was. Because if people had to choose one or the other, and some people obviously did,
It's a pretty
they're like,
no-brainer there.
I'm going to come to Kentucky. I mean, you knew this. Go ahead. Sorry.
Parking passes are going for like $100.
I'm surprised they're not going for more than that.
Yeah. Sometimes parking passes are more important than actual seats. Depending on what's going on. So anyway, plenty of you in town. Remember to sign up to be eligible to win an official Game Day Ole Miss jersey. They will give one away after this weekend. They're giving 7 on the year. Every purchase allows you the eligibility to do that. So make multiple purchases, any amounts, and you'll have that many entries if you would like into the contest to win an official Ole Miss jersey. And we are in the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. We've done it 4 times. Might do it a 5th here soon. You get great service. You get great products. Corey and the people at Clark Ford, they want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. They'll prove to you what that means when you make the call. 662-257-1900. Ben Mintz will join in a little bit on the Rafters and Food Hotline.
Music and food.
Rafters, music and food hotline. Rafters just tomorrow presents.
You'll be really glad when this is over.
Now I'm going to miss this reader. Barstool Sports Sleep When You're Dead tour with Brianna Chicken Fry.
Will Mintz have a lot to say about this? Did you ask him about
I didn't.
this?
I meant to ask. He's coming to town, but he's not getting to town till late.
Okay.
Because the party starts at 8, baby. 8 p.m. with Rafters' own DJ Drum. Going to turn all the way up with DJ Vinny Vibe. Vinny Vibe's one of the most charismatic and talented DJ producers in the U.S. He's best known for his dance pop anthem 7 C's and Dirty Little Secret Remax. He holds multiple residences at the top nightclubs in the country. When not performing, Vinny showcases his skills with his weekly radio show, Good Vibes Radio, on Sirius XM's Pitbull's Globalization Channel 13.
Does he?
Yes, sir, he does. He's also syndicated on various stations throughout the world, featuring mixes from some of the world's biggest names in EDM. Chase's friend Brianna Chicken Fry will be there doing her thing too. VIP tickets have already sold out, but general admission will be available at the door. There'll be a pop-up shop with merch at Rafters from 4 to 6. So come join them for the biggest party in Oxford, the Barstool Sports Sleep When You Are Dead tour. How about that?
That was good.
Thanks.
I'm impressed.
Got a lot of stuff up on the site. A lot of recruiting's up today. Ole Miss got a big commitment. You can read about that. Braxton Myers committed. That's up on the site. Pete's Pigskin Preview, getting you ready for Kentucky at Ole Miss, is up as well. I highly recommend that you listen to that on YouTube. I will load it into the podcast feed.
The visual helps.
But the visual helps. Let me explain to you why it helps. Because Pete has video film, coaches film, from Ole Miss's win over Tulsa, taking a look at what went right, what went wrong for the Rebels against Tulsa. And he also has video from Kentucky's win over Florida earlier this year. Shows you some things where the Wildcats struggle. Shows you some things that the Wildcats did well at the Swamp. So it's really informative. I learned a lot. A lot of stuff on Jackson Dart, his progress. A lot of stuff on Will Levis, the Kentucky quarterback. So if you like football, you will like this. If you love X's and O's and all that stuff, you'll love this. And listening to it, it's just not going to work. You can, and I'm going to put it up for you because we're trying to get to a certain number. But if you really want to enjoy the product, you'll go to YouTube. And I know some people, because I get this email, I don't like YouTube. I don't want to use YouTube. It's okay. It's free. Just hit the button. I'd love for you to subscribe, hit the like, and all that stuff, but you would enjoy that on YouTube. We also have up on YouTube and already in podcast form, The Butcher versus the Spin Instructor, presented by LB's Meat Market. Oh, I need to tell you about Walk-Ons, by the way, because they sponsor Pete's show. Walk-Ons Sports Bistro puts everything they've got into bringing you game day with the taste of Louisiana. Dig into their mouth-watering, made-from-scratch Louisiana cuisine like po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. all in front of 70-plus TVs, 40-plus ice-cold beers on tap. Check them out in Oxford if you're coming up for the weekend. If you are in Jackson and that area and you're not coming up, looking for a place to watch some of the games, maybe after the Ole Miss game, maybe during the Ole Miss game, maybe both, check out the location in Ridgeland. Again, that's Walk-On's Sports Bistro. And I was telling you about the butcher versus the spin instructor. It's Greg Jones this week versus Caroline McCready, filling in for her sick big sister. They go pick a bunch of games, like 10 games, around the country, including all the SEC games. And that's brought to you by LB's Meat Market, 2008 University Avenue in Oxford. All the freshest cuts there at LB's, whether it's beef or chicken, pork, fresh seafood every Thursday, house-made sausages, bacon-wrapped jalapenos, stuffed mushrooms, the bacon-wrapped asparagus, and so much more. It's all there at LB's Meat Market, 2008 University Avenue in Oxford. Tyler Siskey and I have a McCready and Siskey powered by Rain Total Body Fuel up today. A.J. McCarron joined us, former Alabama quarterback, former NFL, not former, he's still NFL quarterback. He's just rehabbing from an ACL injury. He's had some workouts with NFL teams, so you get to talk to A.J. a little bit. And I have a Mind on My Money presented by Pinnacle. That's up as well. That's mypinwealth.com, MYPINN wealth.com.
You got through all that.
Yeah.
Good job.
Lots of energy today, man, because
Really?
Brianna Chicken Fry's coming.
You kind of done, though?
Like energy-wise?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty geeked up right now.
You do kind of feel...
I'm energized.
Okay.
There's a familiarity that brings energy.
You have more energy now than before I called you at 4:30 or 5 o'clock or whatever that was?
I don't know. I'd had a rain by then.
Yeah, the notification did not go out. I don't know. We don't control that. I'm sorry.
I know.
We tried.
I did the same thing I always do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd had a rain with citrulline.
What is
the
that?
Red Dragon. It's got the it's the
What is citrulline?
it's the thing kind of speeds up your metabolism.
Okay.
Got a little more extra oomph
Oomph.
and awareness to it.
Okay.
And it gets you going.
So you do feel it for a little while.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like if I were young, I think I could take drink a rain at 5, 6 o'clock and be all right.
Okay.
But and I'll tell you this: if you told me that Ole Miss was playing a night game, like a late night
You would
game,
take one.
I would drink a rain like 5 o'clock and I'd be good.
For like an 8 o'clock kick.
Yeah, I would drink a rain like 5, 6 o'clock,
Okay.
and I'd be pumped.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because you and I both, 11 o'clock.
Oh, we're done.
I'm
there would be nothing left.
I'm hitting the wall.
Yeah, it's over at that point. I'll start if I got steel, I'll start falling asleep about 9:45. Frankly, if I'm where I could do that.
Yeah, for sure. Man, they did the whiteout in Cincinnati, and it looks
perfect.
fantastic.
No, it's perfect.
This is a great uniform game in the NFL.
While we're promoting and because it will be tomorrow morning with this, buy my book.
Can you show people a picture?
Yeah, I've got it here.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, I've got it here. So the way this is working right now, you can go to Amazon, you can buy it. I will put a link there for that to be the case. And I was trying to hold off until it was everywhere, if I'm being honest, and people just started finding it. It started selling without me marketing it.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, it's kind of dumb not to market it.
Yes.
Because today it got up to number 12 of baseball books sold today without me marketing it.
Where are you in the Mississippi bestsellers?
I don't know. I'm not aware yet. So do me a favor, you get it on Amazon now. I know a lot of people from out of state have asked about signed copies. We are using Lemuria out of Jackson for that. They have a pre-order link up now. So as soon as I can get them signed and get the books to Lemuria, they will mail those out. So if you'd like a signed copy, Lemuria is where I instruct you to go for that. That's where I instruct you to go for that.
There you go.
And they will take care of you. So I'll put both those links on the board. I may be even in this chat in a minute as we're talking, but it is there, and those are the options for that. Yes, Russell, you were one of the first ones that just located it. It has been.
They've located it on Amazon. Is that right?
They've located it on Amazon, and I know it hit a couple private message boards. It has not hit ours yet, but
Okay.
it started moving through the community. And as that happened, I went, "Okay, this is stupid to not be talking about it." I was trying to do my best to keep it for Lemuria to get their books prior to it being whatever. I'm trying to be a good soldier, but they do have the signed copies if you would like that. That is, and we'll be at other places as well. But right now, that is sort of where we're pointing people. That will be with my social media and things along those lines. So. That's where we are. Okay. What are we talking about? What are we doing?
I don't know. Got a big football game in about a day and a half.
We've talked a lot about it.
I feel like
are you talked out by Thursday? For that?
I forgot. As an Oxford Exxon podcast extra today, Justin Rowland and I talked about 24 minutes. Ole Miss, Kentucky. It was really good. It was really good. It's worth a listen if you've got it in your mix. Justin was terrific. Enjoyed working with them this week. It's not always, we don't always have the power of the network at our disposal. I mean, we don't. Let's just be real. But they're great. I got a lot of respect for that site. They do a really, really good job, and they were great all week.
There's like 5 we like really go, hey, yeah, that's.
And we get one next week because Chris Lee and Vanderbilt. I mean,
Sure.
It's not Chris's fault that Vanderbilt.
No, Chris deserves a better site.
He deserves.
He would do a really good job with. I hate to say schools, but
yeah, well, I can think of one that I wish he worked at.
That goes without saying. I mean, that's not.
Oh, look at Utah State putting up 7 early. How about that?
BYU probably a little sleepy for this one.
Let's go T.
Do you like the green on green or whatever we're calling that?
I would prefer the green, the aqua on white, but aqua on aqua is not terrible. I mean, if you're going to do it, do it. That white uniform is fantastic, though. That is superb. The white helmet, that's heat. They ought to think about that helmet more often.
But it has to go with this suit. No.
Well, they can use the other.
Can that go with white on something else?
You could do white on black. I don't like white. I just think
it can't have orange.
If you have great white uniforms, just go with them. And then their black jersey, the black jersey for them looks good with the white or with the black. And I don't really like their orange jersey.
Did you see where he had people he thought spying on his practice on Wednesday?
Yeah,
so he put 12 men on the field for all the plays.
Tyler and I talked about this a little bit. The NFL is so scouted and so prepped that you're not going to run anything really that they don't know is coming.
I mean, you would have to.
I guess you could
do dumb things for the week.
You could run like a quadruple reverse out of a bootleg or something. I mean, the odds of it working would be like 0. But
I mean, if you come out in the Maryland Eye, nobody prepared for that. But
yeah,
you're defeating your own purpose at some point.
Right now, you're taking one of your plays away.
You're doing a Hugh Freeze thing.
We talked about that. Yeah. Tyler with his money line pick. Did you hear what he did this week?
No, what did he do?
So my money line pick was Illinois at Washington. At Wisconsin. I got plus 240, I think, or plus 225. He went with, took his money line was Arkansas at home against Alabama. It's plus 575.
I would need a little more than that.
Yeah. He's the one that's way ahead. And I was like, I should be the one taking that gamble, not you. But
it's not really a gamble because you're not losing but 1 unit or whatever.
Right. So I'm a week away in that competition from having to start taking those kind of shots.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm 7 full units behind.
How many do y'all do a week?
We do 5 college games and a college money line, 5 NFL games.
Well, that's a lot of units.
Yeah, I still got time.
I mean, you have a lot of...
Miami a little sloppy early. Two penalties on this opening drive. BYU scores. That's going to be... Utah State probably should have taken the picture.
Yeah, I saw, I guess, on Twitter or somewhere yesterday that it was Hartwell. He was in a hotel in Provo because he ran into Phil Savage in the hotel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Phil Savage was in the hotel scouting, I guess, the game tonight or something because he works for the Jets now.
Phil does?
Yeah, Phil works for the Jets. And apparently, where are they from? They're from the same place. He mentioned that they were in 4th grade together.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know where Phil's from down, and I guess John is too.
From Mobile or somewhere in that area?
Fairhope, that area.
Okay. Yeah. I could go find it, but just from recollection, he said something about how they were in 4th grade class together.
Because Phil lived in Fairhope for the longest time until he got the Ravens GM job.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot he was the Ravens. Browns too, right?
I meant Browns.
Yeah.
Not Ravens. Browns.
Oh, same.
He drafted Brady Quinn.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I did not know that.
Bengals get a first down inside the 5 or real close to a first down. 3rd and, I guess, inches there. All right, so Chase just put his link
links are
in.
up.
Yeah, so the link's up if you want to check that out. Jake wants to know if it'll be at Barnes & Noble.
Okay, that's a little more complicated. I am working on some local Barnes & Noble, but essentially you have to sell it locally to them expand. So it will go as far as it is sold.
Gotcha.
You're a little fortunate because at least the local one is on campus, so that is doable. And then you hope that you can start branching out from there. Yeah, that's a little more complicated. So,
but they can't put the one on campus until it's sold a certain amount.
Well, that one, no, that the local buyer can just take that one.
Okay.
But then to get into the system,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
It's I'm learning more than I'd like to know, frankly.
Oh, I'm sure it's an industry in and of itself.
It's a very complicated industry, and frankly, it's an industry that's not very kind to people without deals and insiders. I mean, it's
there's a reason that everyone hooks up with James Patterson.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those deals where let me tell you, yeah, it's you gotta know somebody, or it's a haul. We'll put it that way.
I've heard that before.
Oh no,
that's what people have said.
Well, I mean, look, it's I mean, not to get on a book conversation, but you've got these publishing houses that are huge that they discourage self-publisher, independent, smaller houses, but it's beating down the own system. It makes where there's no entry point in. I mean, you either kind of get in one of those or you're sort of shunned a little bit. Independent bookstores hate Amazon. I understand why. I completely put them out of business, but at the same time, you can't really get into the stores without something else. Yeah, it's a big catch-22 in all directions. I mean, I guess it's like most of anything, but yes, it's its own. It has plenty of its own issues and problems, but it's relative to expectations and kind of what I thought I was embarking on. It has been not as bad as expected for the most part.
Yeah,
a couple annoyances, but it's okay.
I'm aware of one.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Larry has been awesome.
I haven't even taken a silly cheap shot at anybody. I'm just not yet. I'm just kind of cruising right along.
You're just kind of sitting there, aren't you?
You know, as I've said, it's hard to surprise me.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, you can do it, but it's going to take work. Bengals up 7-0. They marched down the field in 4:41. It
was Bill Simmons that had, what was it called, the Tyson zone, where Mike Tyson had done so many crazy things that he named it that, where literally nothing was shocking anymore. Like you had to go so far out there to shock him at that point.
Yeah.
That it was very hard to get in the Tyson zone.
I mean, what you've told me, I'm like, yeah, I see that. I'm not surprised at all. I mean, in fact, I'd have been surprised if you'd said, no, that was seamless.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, really?
Yeah.
Shocking.
So it's all good. No real updates beyond this morning. I was trying to think injuries or whatever else. We're still sort of waiting on what Caleb Warren may or may not can do.
A lot of talk about an offensive line restructuring. Shuffling. I've heard that. I'd heard it kind of off the record, and then it got reported somewhere else. How's that work? How's that work when you're told something, but you're told off the record? You haven't had a chance to verify it at all, and then somebody else reports it, yet you didn't see what they reported. You just heard what they reported. How does that work? The hint.
You have to be able to say you at least have heard something along those lines.
The hint in it is that either Caleb Warren can't go or is expected to be very limited, or they are preparing for a likely situation in which he cannot continue. So they've got Eli Acker at center. And if what is being reported is accurate, and I heard this as well, they've got Jeremy James at guard along with Nick Broker. And then they've got Jaden Williams and Micah Pettis at the tackles,
right,
in that lineup. And so I guess in that lineup, Mason Brooks is the utility man who could play both tackle spots, and he's played right guard, so I assume he could play left guard. And I don't know in that scenario who the backup center is. I've heard a name, but I don't know it to be true.
Yeah, I don't either.
I've heard Jeremy James is the backup center.
I would assume it's almost a snapping contest is who can.
Yeah. You know, Acker hasn't played the full game. Well, I guess he did last week. I don't know what was his snap count last week. Don't go look it up. I'm just curious. Did he play the whole game when he moved from guard to center?
Yeah, he was one of the ones that played every snap. It just wasn't the same possession.
Okay.
I mean, position. It was 70 whatever 367. Hell, I don't know. Whatever it was. They still didn't move a lot of linemen around. It was pretty much everybody the whole game, and I can find it pretty.
No, it's no big deal. But what it boils down to, and this is everywhere, right? Is that they don't have a lot of line depth. Mm-hmm. Most people don't. It's one of the reasons that doing this whole predicting a season thing is so hard, because a couple of injuries could completely change your outlook. I mean, we do it and we'll continue to do it because it's fun and it's good talk. But the truth is, if you're doing it accurately, you almost have to always throw the caveat out that, well, it depends on health. Mm-hmm. I mean, because like if Ole Miss were to lose Nick Broker, for example, it's a monumental loss because the shuffle is extreme.
Sure. Yeah, it's not losing one person. It's everybody else having to do something different.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons Kentucky has concerns is because they've had some injuries up front on offense, and they're not what they thought they would be offensively on the line of scrimmage. They're good at receiver, and they get Rodriguez back, and obviously they have Levis and that kind of thing, but they're not what they thought they would be. They thought they would land a tackle in the portal, and they didn't.
And here they are.
Yeah. So, but that's the rumor. I don't know it to be true. I think it is likely mostly true, but I don't know. I don't know about Zach Evans. I don't know about Ulysses Bentley. I've heard different things about Kari Coleman, and I would assume, based on what Kiffin said earlier this week, that J.J. Pegues is essentially fine.
Yes, I think that is correct. How do you think they're going to do with the stripe out on Saturday?
I'm always skeptical about stuff like that when I've never seen it done before.
Yeah.
And the following is not a criticism of Ole Miss people, okay? So don't take it as one.
Y'all are all asking. No offense.
No, Ole Miss people don't seem as willing as others to be told what to wear. It's kind of more of I'm going to wear what I want to wear. I'm going to the Grove. I'm going to wear what I wear, and I'm coming to the game. And if it happens to be what you want me to wear, great. But I'm going to wear what I want to wear.
I think that's a valid.
And if that comes across mean, I don't mean for it to.
Oh, you know, someone goes, God, I'm in a Navy section. I really had red picked out.
I'm going to wear red.
Yeah.
Because this is my lucky shirt, or this is the shirt that I look best in, or whatever. As opposed to, like, at Tennessee, it feels like you tell me to wear.
They did the checkerboard.
You tell me to wear orange, I'm back out wearing orange. You tell me to wear.
I'm still kind of bothered by Kentucky and Tennessee both having the checkerboard as part of their.
Well, we've been over this, and not to bog down in it too.
I know, but
too much, but Kentucky, if they would take the checkerboard off their blue jersey, it is just.
Didn't we determine they had it first?
Did they? They may have. Why would they want checkerboard though?
Is it a racing thing? Is it a Kentucky Derby thing?
Is it horse races? Though they don't wave the like. It would make more sense for Indiana to have checkerboard.
Oh, the flag.
Yeah, the checkered flag, right?
Yeah. Whatever. I'm not in the mood.
Russell says it's going to look purple. I mean, I don't know. Look, here's what I can tell you. I think the stadium's going to be electric. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. All that stuff. Tua's on fire. These are two good quarterbacks. I mean, go figure.
That is the perfect amount of orange in those suits.
No, it's a really good uniform.
It's almost perfectly done.
It's a really good uniform. I don't hate that at all.
And the Dolphins do a good job of using a Miami-type color.
Yeah.
Unlike the Marlins, who have all sorts of hell going on.
They've never been able to figure it out.
No. But they tried to sort of do that at the very beginning, like the Benito Santiago expansion Marlins.
Yeah.
It was black and that color.
Right.
And then it went all to hell after that.
Oh, there was motion on that. You deserved to get tackled because there was motion on that play. How do you think what have they revealed what top they're wearing? Are they going red or
I haven't
powder?
seen that. It's usually tonight, isn't it?
Are they going white? There had been some rumblings of a white top.
Really?
I'd heard that.
Oh, here it is. Juice is in the in the picture.
That's why he's never leaving. Auburn's not putting his Labrador Retriever.
Powder blue.
Powder blue.
Powder blue on white with the white helmet.
That's kind of what I figured they might do.
I thought powder was most likely with red as a possibility. The red looked fine.
I would like to see the red with it, but I get the powder.
Because the red accents are pretty good in the helmet, too.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to use this helmet again for Auburn and go with the red top.
Well, they could do that.
The rumor is they're wearing these twice.
Well, I mean, you have it.
Sure.
It's not going anywhere.
You don't think they're going to auction them off?
Instead of keeping them for future years?
Yeah.
Probably auction them off as you go, damn, I wish we still had those. And they're pretty damn expensive to get. I don't know.
Miami's going to have to settle for a field goal. Edmonds dropped what should have been a touchdown catch.
It's a huge one for the Bengals to get back to 2-2.
This will be a good look. Then Kentucky will wear the all white.
They will.
And their road uniform.
It's good.
It's really good, minus the.
As long as they don't wear like a pewter helmet or something.
Yeah. Sometimes they mess it up.
They have black and pewter. Yes, they screw it up. You have blue and white with your colors, and they wear black and pewter or copper or whatever it is.
They've gotten better about going back to their mainstream stuff.
Chrome, I guess, would be
the chrome. Yeah,
yeah, it's chrome.
Does Tyler have a son play football? Yes, he does. He has a son who's a defensive back. He's a 9th grader, I think.
Okay.
He's playing he's playing 9th grade. He's not on the varsity yet.
Really?
Probably will be next year.
Okay.
They want to know your thoughts on the powder camo helmets.
These?
Yeah.
Or like some other helmet?
I guess the ones that they're wearing.
Oh. I like them. I'm good. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do something along those lines, this is the perfect way to do it. Don't do an actual green camo pattern and put an Ole Miss sticker or something on it or change the...
Right.
This was correct.
Yes.
This is absolutely the way to do this.
Yeah.
It's clean. It looks good. It does kind of stay within your mode. Like, I'm not even saying this is not a traditional uniform thing, but you do have a pattern. Like, you have a mode, like you sort of stay within a context, and it does that.
Your brand is fun, so be fun. That is your brand under Kiffin. I mean, they're putting the Labrador Retriever in the videos. Your brand is fun. So embrace it. Go all in. There's no point in trying to make yourself a traditional uniform when nobody outside of you thinks of your uniforms as traditional.
Is the pattern is being used mostly for like fishing gear and fishing shirts and stuff? Is that right?
That's my assumption.
That's what I thought.
I mean, it doesn't look like something you'd wear out deer hunting.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's not necessarily camo.
I'm way out of my wheelhouse here.
It's not your.
I know. I mean, I like it. I've told Tyler Jordan I think it looks great. I think it looks cool.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I mean, I've had people ask me like, "What are they doing?" I'm like, what do you mean? Like, that's just kind of weird. I'm like, no, it's not. It's cool. It's different. The kids will love it. All the recruits who will be there will be checking out the helmet. They will be loving the helmet. That part I can tell you.
Oh.
And so that is your target demo in this deal.
Yeah, it just looks cool. Camo, not camo, whatever. It just looks cool.
It's be different. Be different. You're not Alabama, so don't pretend to be.
Even Bama put the houndstooth on the collar.
Well, they just sometimes you got to just.
That was Mike Shula, though.
Yeah, sometimes you got to be different. We talked about this early in the week. I think there's only a handful of programs that can pretend to be above being different.
Jonathan says it's to break up the shape against the sky.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure. I mean,
I'm under no ability to argue with you.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
I mean, we need Tyler on.
Probably could do that.
Yeah. Let's discuss this. Okay.
All right. Talked to Ben Mintz yesterday. Yeah, yesterday about the weekend ahead. We talked. He'll be in Oxford late tomorrow. He'll be there for the game on Saturday. So we talked about Ole Miss, Kentucky. We talked about the rest of the kind of SEC slate, not all of the games. Then we went through the week ahead in the NFL. So here's Ben Mintz of Barstool Sports. When we come back, we'll take your calls on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Ben Mintz of Barstool Sports joins us as he always does each and every Thursday. We're taping this on a Wednesday, but you'll see it on Thursday. Ben in New Orleans. Today he'll be in Oxford. This weekend, Kentucky and Ole Miss. Obviously, the big game getting closer and closer and closer. Ben, how are you?
I'm doing great. I got to say, I've had this weekend. So, when I was looking at evaluating what I was going to make in Oxford, this was the one that stood out. Obviously you got Auburn and then Mississippi State and Bama with later home games, but the way the schedule broke, I'm going to call it what it is, Neal. We said it off the air. We'll say it now. We had preseason's over finally. Ole Miss basically had 4 preseason games in September, and I know they all counted the win column, and I'm happy with the way the team looks, but the real thing starts on Saturday at 11 a.m., and I know a lot's been made about this kickoff time. LSU actually got stuck with it next week with Tennessee, so their fans are complaining too, which I'm kind of laughing at. But look, it's a huge game. Kentucky's number 7, Ole Miss number 14. Lots of lots of storylines, lots of stuff to get into with this one. Vegas, man, I thought that Ole Miss would be a decently bigger favorite. I remember I told you that a couple of weeks ago. I didn't know it'd be. It's 7 now, and I think that's a little extreme.
What do you attribute that to? Because there's a part of me that looks at that line and thinks, because I'm always trying to think where Vegas is trying to trick me. And I know it doesn't work like that, but I can't help that my mind thinks that. A part of me thinks, they want everyone to jump on Kentucky and the points because they think Ole Miss is actually going to win by bigger than that.
Part of me thinks that, but the other part of me thinks what it is it's similar to what's going on with Tennessee right now. Like Ole Miss, even though they only won by 8 against Tulsa last week, Ole Miss really beats the crap out of bad teams and scores a lot of points. And when you're, favored by 17 against Georgia Tech and you beat them by 42, I know the Troy game they didn't cover either, but I think Vegas has a really strong power ranking on Ole Miss because of Kiffin and last year, and Kentucky, who kind of is known for grinding wins out. Like, yeah, they win 8 or 9 a lot of years, but it's, they do it in a lot of close games. I just think the power ranking on Ole Miss is way stronger. And, I'm going to be honest, I'm not laying 7 in this game. As an Ole Miss fan, you got a top 10 team coming in. I just want to win this game, period. I don't give a crap if it's by 1, 10, 3, whatever. This is a huge game for Ole Miss this season. You got at Vandy and Auburn at home the next 2. If you win this game, you got a chance to be off to just an incredible start until the season really heats up in late October. And this is that inflection point. And like I said, I literally don't care if they win this game 7-6. Just you got to win this game. Some interesting stuff in this game. You break down Ole Miss's film the first 4 weeks. They hadn't played anybody great. O-line obviously looks great. The running back combo, Judkins, has just been such a revelation with Zach Evans. You got a great 1-2 combo. Jackson Dart was running the ball pretty well last week, but I'm still concerned about the vertical passing game that is, and I feel like you can cover that up when you play all these non-SEC kind of weaker teams. But I feel like they're going to have to hit some deep shots here at some point, and I'm a little concerned about that. I do think Jonathan Mingo is showing signs of really stepping up. But that's kind of, if you're Kentucky, you got a really physical front. You stack the line, you play man-to-man, make Ole Miss beat you deep, I think. It's got to be their game plan, I would think.
What's the gambling play here?
The over-under's 53. It's Ole Miss by 7. I'm never going to bet against Ole Miss on ever. Well, actually, I'll tell you what. I never say never. In 2011, when the Houston Nutt team was one of the worst teams in the history of football, I knew when they lost 30-0 to Vandy week 2, I was like, all right, this is what it is. I'm a bad fan. I'll bet against this team. But every other Ole Miss team, I will not bet against. That one team deserves a special star.
I have never bet on a team that I cover, either for them or against them, because I don't want to go there. But there are days that I still regret not taking Louisiana Tech in points against Ole Miss. There are days that I think, my God, that was the freest money that was ever passed out, and I didn't take it.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that, but I'm not going to lay the 7. Like I said, I think Ole Miss is going to pull this thing out. The 53 is interesting.
I kind of like the under.
Yeah, I can see that. So Kentucky has Chris Rodriguez, their good running back coming back. Look, the thing with the way Ole Miss's defense is designed, man, you got a lot of speed. I really like the secondary. I like this unit. I mean, I know Tulsa kind of scored some, but a lot of the backup defense was in there in the second half. But you got to think, Ole Miss is kind of a faster defense. Kentucky's probably going to run the ball at us a lot. I think you got to come out and, if you're playing Ole Miss, I would think that's, especially with Kiffin trying to run that tempo offense and run a lot of plays, even if you're running, you got to think Kentucky's going to come out and run power, and that could shorten the game a little bit.
All right, I want to talk about some of these other SEC games. We're going to get to the NFL because I've gotten a lot of feedback from people going, make sure he walks through these NFL games because people.
Yeah, I've been pretty hot so far.
You're doing really well. All right. I've just got these in some order. Is there anything about this Michigan-Iowa game, Michigan minus 10.5 that you like? Do you like the under at all? I think the over-under is like 43.
Yeah, I would lean under if anything. I don't trust Michigan. I know they beat Maryland by 15 last week, and Maryland had a fluky early touchdown. But I thought that was a spot where if Michigan was like dominant and really good, that they would come out and dominate. And I didn't see, they didn't cover the 17. I'm still Iowa or nothing here. I know Iowa's bad on offense. Everybody's seen the story, but man, a lot of teams have been favorites and they've gotten Ohio State in the spot through the years, man. That's a weird place to go play.
I know.
So I think I'm Iowa plus 10. I also don't think Michigan, their offense was really explosive last year. I don't know that it is as much this year. So, I'm it's one of those spots where it's really hard to take Iowa with what we've seen out of their offense so far, but I think I'm Iowa or nothing. And I would be under or nothing if I had to make a play on that.
It lines up to 11. The over-under is 42.5. The Iowa money line is plus 330.
I would take a look at it. I know it's one of those things where we've seen how bad Iowa looks, but man, they have just through the years, they have a lot of upsets at home in Kinnick Stadium. And, I don't think this Michigan team is they played a cream puff war like Ole Miss the first few weeks. They ran it up on Colorado State, UConn, and Hawaii. I just really thought last week if they were done, it was a spot to come out. Big Ten home opener against Maryland. If they were really good, I thought they would dominate that. I didn't see that effort.
By the way, Ben, to show you that Vegas really thinks Ole Miss is winning this game, I just pulled it up because I was curious, and it's right underneath Michigan, Iowa. The Ole Miss money line's minus 250. The Kentucky money line's plus 210. It's Vegas believes in Ole Miss. I'll tell you that. That's not a massive money line, but it's not like a 130 or something.
No, I think they, like you said, I think they may be baiting people a little bit on Kentucky here. And Kentucky also kind of had a similar effort to Ole Miss last week against Northern Illinois. They didn't really run it up. We kind of just, I don't think there's really anything to make of that. That was just a down game for both teams. I'm not the biggest Will Levis fan, by the way. I want to mention that. I know he's super hyped up. And, there's always these quarterbacks that are 6'3" or 6'4" that have the prototypical arm and have the scouts drooling. But, I've seen a lot of film on him in college, and he hasn't really shown me, too much so far.
Yeah, you and me disagree on this one, and you'll probably end up being right. But there's a lot of Levis stuff that I really like.
Okay.
I like Levis a bunch. I think he's got a decent shot to be face of a franchise in the NFL.
Okay. No, we'll see. I just
today he's a work in progress. But he's got real arm talent.
No, I definitely agree with that. On the arm talent part, I just haven't seen the consistency yet.
Kansas got any shot to keep this up?
Yeah, I think they do. That Jalen Daniels, man, that quarterback, dual threat. Look, if Lance Leipold doesn't win Coach of the Year, like I said, I had over 2.5 wins and hit it in week 3. I've never hit a bet that fast in the season in my entire life. Now they're 4-0, and they've crushed the transfer portal. You talk about the situation he got left by Les Miles, and Leipold did a great job at Buffalo. He won Wisconsin Whitewater. I think he won 6 titles in D3. That dude is a just beast coach. And Iowa State, I feel like their reputation, Matt Campbell's a great coach too, but I think they're a school whose reputation is more than they are this year. They lost a lot with Breece Hall and Purdy, and that's not a school that has that super high-end talent, Yeah. So I actually think I would take Kansas again here. I don't know how you go against them at this point.
The Alabama-Arkansas line up to 17.5. I'm a little surprised that this line has climbed the way it has. It opened at 15.5, and I thought, yeah, it's about right. And now it's moved up a couple of points where it's almost getting to that place where Arkansas plus the points is something you think about. The over-under 60, I kind of like the over. The money line shows you just how much Vegas thinks this could be a blowout. The Alabama money line's minus 850. The Arkansas money line's plus 600.
You mentioned I actually am going to take Arkansas on the points here, and here's why. Going back to last year, Bama's looked a little flaky on the road. It started with the win at Florida last year when they won by 2. Remember the Auburn game they should have lost on the road. You saw what happened at Texas earlier this year. They're not dominating on the road like, they lost at A&M last year. I didn't even mention that.
Yeah, I know.
I just feel like the last couple of years, they're showing some chinks in the armor on the road. They're not coming out and wiping people out on the road in these games anymore. And I think Arkansas, obviously a really, really tough loss, but they're resilient. KJ Jefferson played, I thought, he played great against Ole Miss and Bama last year. He played a great game at Alabama. He scored 35 points in that game last year. So I'm taking the 17.5 here. I mean, I think Bama will win, but I also think Saban teams, man, he's just trying to go on the road and win SEC games. He don't give a crap if they win by 24,
It's funny, and I've wondered this out loud a couple of times this week. We'll never know. I'm curious what the line would have been, what the talk would have been had just Arkansas made one more play, made a kick, not had a fumbled snap there on 2nd and 5 at the 15. I'm wondering if there's a little Vegas overreaction to a really close loss that Arkansas probably should have won.
Yeah, just yet another. I said it last week on here. The Arkansas A&M game is the same game every year.
Yep.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's every year. It's the same exact game. Like, it's so crazy. It happened again.
Yeah.
But no, I think Arkansas is going to be fired up. 17.5 is a ton. And yeah, I mean, I think I'm taking the points here for sure. I don't know if I can quite pull the trigger on the money line, but
no, Alabama's winning the game.
Yeah, but 17.5,
it's a big number.
And let's also mention too, do you think, I know Bama's awesome. I'm not trying to down them, but I don't see that Jameson Williams or those elite receivers on the field this year. And so they're not
as Mike Griffith was saying. That's what Mike Griffith was saying on the Oxford Exxon podcast on Wednesday. He said he just didn't see those. He didn't see those receivers. 41-24 doesn't cover. You know what I mean? I mean,
yeah.
that's a big number of it. I'm still probably betting it. I'm probably going to take the point, lay the point.
No, I'm doing it. I'm in there with you. I got the Hogs.
Yeah, I'm probably taking the Tide and laying the points because I just, for some reason, think this is a mismatch. But that number's getting big.
They fought them last year too, though. Arkansas.
They did. They did. They
41 or 42-35 in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, they were, and almost converted the onside kick. Could have gotten really weird. Wake Forest and Florida State. Wake's getting 7. That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The only thing on this one, though, I feel like Wake really, and I was on Wake last week when that home dog and they lost in that OT. I just feel like they're in a bad spot this week, coming off getting gutted like that in a huge home game against Clemson, going on the road against Florida State. It's like a weird spot, if that makes sense. So Florida State playing a lot better, and also who the hell knows what's going on with the weather with this hurricane down in Florida there too, that could affect this thing. I don't think I heard the bad weather is good for Wake though with their offense. I think I got a big timing rhythm offense.
Got the Texas A&M coming off the win in Arlington over Arkansas. They go to Starkville, getting 3.5 points.
Yeah, this one, and this is the old. Okay, here's one trend I look for in college. When an unranked team is favored over a ranked team, something's up a lot. And A&M's number 17. They just beat Miami and Arkansas. Granted, they did it. 2 big wins, but just that A&M offense right now is looking rough.
Yeah, it does.
No, and so I kind of think State may be the right side here. They got a good home field advantage. Vegas is telling you they like State, laying 3.5 or 4, and then State. A&M's had a lot of trouble with the Mississippi schools the last few years too. State won there last year too. Here's
where Vegas is telling you they're not sure though. The State money line's minus 170. The Texas A&M money line's only plus 145.
I think I'd take. The thing is it's just hard. Like, I feel like there's such a good chance that this is a close game because neither offense is really, A&M does have a really good defense. And State, I really thought what LSU did in the second half, what LSU's defense put on film can be used against State going forward. They literally were just like, hey, we're going man-to-man. Your guys are going to have to beat us vertical down the field. We're not dropping anyone giving you these 5-yard crosses because all State wants to do is dink and dunk you to death. And LSU just was like, we're not letting you do it. If you want to beat us down the field, you got vertical one-on-one. We're going to give it to you all night. We're going to make Will Rogers make these throws. He's not mobile. Don't give him those check downs. And I feel like what they put on film, these good coaching staffs should use against State because they just shut them down completely in that second half.
It's why I like A&M in this game.
Okay.
I think Durkin's going to have a good plan for them. He had a really good plan for them last year in the Egg Bowl.
I'm honestly going to stay away. Over-under's low at 45, but I see why. I think this game could be pretty grindy.
Another low over-under's 45 and a half. It's LSU at Auburn. LSU now favored by 8.5. Looks like the weather's not going to get them. Looks like it's going to be a fairly dry track. The LSU money line's minus 350. The Auburn money line's plus 290. Who would have ever foreseen that Auburn would slip to this point where they're an 8.5-point dog at home against an unranked LSU?
Yeah, so this game's just alarm bells are going off on me here. I think under, and I like Auburn in the points. I think this is like a 16-13 or 17-14 or 20-17 game. LSU, no Keyshawn Butte, expecting the birth of his first child with his girlfriend. I think that's a significant loss for LSU, even though they do have other good receivers. But, these LSU-Auburn games through the years, just no matter what, are always close. The games at Auburn, I've seen some really low-scoring ones through the years there too. And I just think Auburn, I know their offense sucks. I don't believe in TJ Finley. I know he's playing LSU, whatever. I don't think that matters. He's bad. But on the other hand of it, I think Auburn's defense will fight really hard. And I don't think LSU's offense is like anything that special right now. And so I think LSU goes in there and guts out some kind of close win. And I think it goes under. Like, how does 2016 LSU sound? Something like that. I think it's going to be somewhere in there.
You have any thoughts on this West Virginia Texas game? West Virginia getting 9.5.
I never like taking West Virginia on the road in the Big 12 because all the traveling.
Yeah,
I know they had they really did play. They may not be that bad. They blew that Pitt game against their rival on a Thursday that everybody saw, and then they lost in overtime to Kansas, who's turned out to be pretty good. They beat the crap. I mean, Virginia Tech's bad, but you go in there and you beat them 33-10 on their home field last week. I mean, that's pretty. That's a pretty good statement. But I still can't take West Virginia with all the traveling. Like, I know it's kind of basic, but they have a great home field edge in the Big 12. It's hard to take when they're going that far. Texas is also in a bounce back spot this week too.
All right, one last college game, then we're getting to the NFL.
You're good.
NC State getting 6.5 at Clemson. Clemson just barely escapes last week against Wake, and now they got NC State plus 6.5.
This is a spot where, I'm probably going to take NC State in the points. Your over-under is only 40.5 in this game. That's so low that, I know I can explain this pretty easily to the listeners, actually. I'm much more inclined to take a 6.5-point underdog when it's 40.5 than when the over-under is 68. When you're talking about these 45-31 type games, covering 6.5 is nothing when the scoreboard's getting lit up. But if you think a game, it's 40 points, you're looking at a 23-20 type prediction. Laying 6.5 is a lot in this game. NC State's got a physical front seven. I just think it's a game that, I get Clemson's favorite at home, but 6.5 seems like a big number. NC State's, played well, won last year. They fought them in the series for years. And honestly, I still don't trust Clemson. I didn't trust them last week. I thought they played crappy against Louisiana Tech. They didn't look good against Georgia Tech. I know they got that good D line, but Wake scored a lot of points against them. I would take NC State here.
I agree. I like them too. All right, NFL. We got the Thursday night game. My Bengals giving 4 to the Dolphins. Surely the Dolphins are tired, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what I think. I think this sets up. It's like almost a scheduled loss for Miami. You're 3-0. You played that super crazy physical game against Buffalo. The Bengals big bounce back win against a crappy Jets team. They're 1-2. They're at home on Thursday night. This is like one of those things where on paper you'd say, oh, you're getting 4 with a 3-0 team against a 1-2 team. But this is all but a scheduled loss for Miami. I mean, it just is a tough spot here.
Yeah, Ben, we're thinking a lot alike today. It makes me kind of nervous. The Vikings and the Saints in London, the Saints just I saw it coming last week. I think you did too.
I did too. I said it. Saints were 2.5 on the road. I saw that one coming too, man. I was like, man, you cannot take the Saints laying points at Carolina, division game. But man, I hate to sound like so the Saints narrative, and I mean, I'm down here. I'm obviously a huge Saints fan. The national narrative was that they were going to stink because they were losing Sean Payton. And the local narrative was like, okay, there's a lot of talent. Everybody's overrating this. But so far, I remember 2012 when Payton was suspended that year and they looked really sloppy that year too. And they just looked on offense. I mean, they just looked so sloppy right now. I mean, that fumble by Kamara can't happen. There's no rhythm in the passing game. Jameis is banged up. They're turning the ball over. Defense is playing hard, but it's hard to take the Saints here in this spot. There's a lot of history with the Saints and Vikings, obviously. But, it's kind of one of those things. I mean, I'm not betting against the Saints. I'm just going to sit back and cheer for them.
Minnesota's been really good at home, not good on the road, and who the hell knows what they'll be in England playing in Tottenham.
They got away with one last week, though. I thought they were going to bounce back. I did hit that under on Vikings-Detroit, but I like Minnesota in a bounce-back spot for Monday. And they were down 24-14 going to the fourth, and Detroit pulled to Detroit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think they're playing all that well either. So, I mean, I feel like the Vikings by 3, that's probably a good line. This feels like a field goal game. And when you look at the Saints, everybody's panicking. I get it. They look bad. Long season. If you could somehow get through this and win this game and get to 2-2, and then you get Seattle coming in next week, you're leaving a lot open for the second half to improve before the schedule gets tougher. But man, a loss here to fall to 1-3, it would be extremely damning. This is a big inflection point early in the season.
My Jags they've been winning for me. They've gotten me 2 wins so far this year. I get 6.5 with Jacksonville at Philly. Philly's really good. Maybe the class of the NFC. The Jags are not a bad football team, and I'm a little tempted with 6.5 points.
If you think after what Doug Peterson did for them winning the Super Bowl and the way they canned him, if you don't think Jacksonville is going to be ready for this game, heck yeah, you like Jacksonville. This is I mean, can you believe they fired him?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to take Jacksonville plus 6.5 here. I mean, you have to.
I'm with you. I'm doing it.
I mean, I'm thinking about taking a money line. Man, they're looking great. Their pass rush, Josh Allen, the Kentucky Josh Allen, is tearing it up. Former 6th overall pick. Remember, he had he had a huge last year at Kentucky. Love what Trevor Lawrence is doing. Just obviously you and I both got a little bit of the Monroe, Peterson, Monroe,
yeah.
A little of the Northeast Louisiana. Good to see it. But I think you got to take the 6.5. This is too big a game for Doug Peterson.
Yeah, I'm doubling up on Jags this week. I got Jacksonville Jags. I'm going with the South Alabama Jags.
Are you?
If there's any other Jags, I might take those Jags. I'm all in on Jags this week. Buffalo's at Baltimore. The Bills trying to bounce back from a disappointing loss. They go to the Ravens. Another huge game. Buffalo giving 3 on the road against Lamar Jackson and company.
I know it's a high over-under at 51, but this one feels like it could get kind of wild.
51.5, yep.
Yeah, it's pretty high. I know they both have pretty good defenses, but man, the way Lamar's playing right now on this contract, he had 4 touchdown passes and a rushing touchdown last week against New England on the road. And this is, after what happened to Buffalo last week, losing that 21-19, and what a scene, Ken Dorsey. What a hilarious scene. That was great. I think this game is going to be a little, I'm looking at taking the over as long as the weather's good. If it's not too rainy, if the weather's good, I think this one's going to get wild.
Commanders and the Cowboys in Dallas. Dallas keeps winning without Dak Prescott. Maybe that tells them something. The Cowboys giving 3 to Washington.
I'm taking Cooper Rush until I lose with them. I was on him against the Bengals 2 weeks ago, had him against the Giants. Look, is he the most flashy guy in the world? No. But you watch him, and he has command of that offense. The ball goes out at the right time. It's going to the right place. The team plays hard for him. They respect him. and they got a ferocious defense. I mean, their pass rush is just lighting people up right now. And then, how can you take the Commanders? The Commanders are 1-2, but they look horrible.
Yeah.
I think something's got to be said about Jack Del Rio's performance as defensive coordinator. I mean, you're talking about a defense that's got 5 first-round picks on your front 7, and they can't stop anything. I think their scheme's outdated. He's outdated. They need to get rid of him. And I think the Cowboys are actually not that bad. So I'm taking Dallas here.
Detroit at home in a game they have to win. They lay 4.5 to Seattle.
Love Detroit here. Love the over here. I'm parlaying both. These Detroit overs are 3-0. Hit again this week. This one's 48.5. Seattle will score some points with DK and Lockett and their weapons on that turf in Detroit. But Seattle's bad. They're 1-2. They beat Denver in the Russ game. They lost at home to Atlanta last week. I think this is Detroit. I mean, how does Detroit 38-24 sound?
Yeah, it sounds good. I'm with you.
I think Detroit wins by a couple touchdowns here, and I think I don't mind the Detroit and over parlay here.
Maybe it's just cats that I'm going on this week. It's just Jaguars, Lions. Find some Tigers. I don't know. Jets and Steelers in Pittsburgh. The Jets did not look good against Cincinnati. The Jets get 3.5 at Pittsburgh.
So Zach Wilson's going to come back here, but I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, judging by how he played last year, and he's coming off an injury. So who knows how that's going to affect his mobility. God, Pittsburgh's they're not good either.
That's a game. Cincinnati's going to look back at the end of the year and go, we lost to Pittsburgh. Damn it.
You know what? Pittsburgh won at Buffalo week 1 last year too.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, week 1, you just never know. So yeah, I mean, I'm Pittsburgh or nothing. I just don't trust the Jets and with the Wilson thing. But Steelers are so bad. I just mentioned my Jack Del Rio speech. If Del Rio's the worst defensive coordinator right now, Matt Canada's the worst offensive coordinator. Going back to his time at LSU, he is garbage. And I cannot believe he's the Steelers' offensive coordinator. You got him, no offensive line, and shaky quarterback situation. It's hard to lay points against anybody.
The Chargers head to Houston. Boy, their season's not what they thought it would be. The Chargers giving 5.5 to a bad Texans team.
I like Houston a good bit in this game. Houston beat them. Houston won outright against them as a 10.5-point underdog late last year in Houston. Chargers lost. They lost their Sean Slater, starting left tackle, first-round pick. Keenan Allen's going to try to come back. I think Herbert, even if he's playing, he's banged up. Houston will fight you at home. We saw them tie Indy week 1. They barely lost to both Denver and Chicago on the road. They're kind of on that not that bad. And I think Houston's got a chance to win this game. Things seem like they're going the wrong way with the Chargers, all their injuries and stuff. So this is a spot I'm definitely banging the home dog.
Interesting. All right. Bears and Giants get together in New York. The Giants had a chance to get to 3-0. They didn't do it. They really just could not move the football against the Cowboys. They get the Bears this week. They're laying 3 against Chicago.
I mean, somebody's winning an ugly game by 3. I just can't right now the way Justin Fields. He looked horrible last week. I can't take Justin Fields on the road right now with their passing game weapons. I just can't do it. I mean, I would lean Giants if anything, but I think it's going to be 20-17 or 17-14, something like that.
Another wolf game. Cleveland at Atlanta. The Browns giving a point to the Falcons.
Atlanta's not that bad. I know that, they've covered. They almost came back against the Rams. They blew that fourth quarter against the Saints. They won at Seattle. My instincts are saying Atlanta may actually win this game as a little slight home dog. I know it's weird, but Cleveland's, super physical team, and I think they're like a good outdoor cold weather team. But Atlanta on that fast track in the dome, I kind of in a weird way like Atlanta here a little bit.
Big spot in the AFC South. The Titans and the Colts. The Colts got a huge win last week against Kansas City. I watched a lot of that game, and they were impressive. They get the Titans in Indianapolis. They're laying 3. What do you think?
Man, hit that Colts one last week. That was the rat game of the week. I talked about that.
You and I both loved the Colts last week.
That was the rat. That was literally just that one stunk last week. This one, Colts by 3 feels about right. The over-under's low. Big win for Tennessee last week. Now they're 1-2. 1-2 is way alive in this division. I mean,
oh yeah,
you got the Jacksonville 2-1, Colts 1-1, and Tennessee 1-2. They played higher scoring games in Indy the last few years, but for the life of me, I don't see how that happens here. I don't think that the Colts just passing game doesn't have any explosiveness. Tennessee, A.J. Brown's being missed in Tennessee. Even though Treylon Burks is flashing, for a rookie, I think he looks really good. But it's just hard to be A.J. Brown. God bless. I guess I'm looking at the under. I think Colts it just feels like a close division game. So Colts by 3 feels about right. Might take under 42, but the fact that it's indoors makes me not like under. So I'm going to stay away.
Pretty interesting game here. Cardinals, they did not play well last week. They got to go to Carolina, who's showing some signs of a pulse, at least. Carolina giving 1.5 at home to the Cardinals.
I like Arizona here. I think Carolina's defense does look pretty good, but man, the Saints gave them that game last week. I know their D played good. Baker Mayfield still 12 of 25 for 170 yards, the last QBR ranking in pro football right now. And my thoughts on this one, Arizona, really good on the road the last couple of years, bad at home. I don't know. They've kind of become that team. And, a lot of home losses, but last year, I believe they were undefeated on the road last year. And they won at the Raiders in week 2. They're 0-2 at home. I kind of think, I think there might be something real here with Arizona being good on the road, bad at home. So I think I'm going to take Arizona.
Crazy money line that you would have never guessed. Who would have ever thought the Patriots would be a plus 360 money line? But they are. They are at Green Bay. They're getting 9.5 points against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. I'm telling you, I don't mind the Packers minus 9.5 right here.
Man, I just the Packers are playing such low scoring games right now that it's just hard to lay 10 in pro football. I get what you're saying. I think
over under here is only 40.5. Vegas thinks this is no points. Vegas they're calling for 20 to 10 here.
Yeah, that's why I can't lay 10 because it's just the margin for error is too thin. It also seems like a spot where everybody's piling up against New England and Mac Jones is out. Green Bay is going to be really public. So, I'm New England plus 9.5 for nothing here.
Okay. Another 325 game. We got Denver heading to Vegas, a AFC West game. Denver getting 2.5 there in Allegiant Stadium.
I like Vegas here. They're 0-3. They have to win this game. Denver, how is this football team? I know their defense is good, but how are they 2-1? And this Russell Wilson stuff's out of control.
It is.
His behavior is like so cringy. I know he's like a do-good, rah-rah type, but man, it's been a little rough. But I think Vegas, you're 0-3. You can't lose here. You can't. You're done if you're 0-4. And Denver, I don't know how they're 2-1. That Sunday night game. I don't know. I like Vegas a good bit here. I think they got to win. They have to win this game.
Tell me where I'm wrong here. Talk me out of this because I want to go put real serious money on Kansas City minus a single point at Tampa Bay. I know it's the Bucs and blah blah blah, but man, the Chiefs, the odds of them in my mind, them losing 2 in a row, I just don't like it. I think they go to Tampa and win.
Well, we also don't know what's going to happen in Tampa with this hurricane right now.
That's true.
And what I think is interesting, I wonder, I feel like they'll void your bets if you do this in this game. I heard the backup site's Minnesota, but I wonder if you could take KC -1, and if the game gets moved, I wonder if your bet still counts. Probably doesn't. They probably won't let you. But no, I think the same thing. I really do. I think Tampa also dealing with this hurricane is tough. Tampa's got a lot of guys out too. You look at that receiver. They're having trouble. They've scored 19, 20, and 12 first 3 weeks. And the 20 they scored against the Saints, they had a defensive touchdown. They're really struggling to move the football. So I think I lean KC on a bounce back. And, I think they're really, really mad about what happened last week.
All right, one last game, the Monday night game, the Rams and the Niners, and NFC West rivalry game, the Rams getting a couple of points at San Francisco.
This feels like one of those games where, God, how on earth do you take San Fran after how Garoppolo looked last week? But I think you have to. The Rams and Niners played on a Monday night. I believe last year the Niners beat them like 31-7 or something. They beat them really bad I think it was middle of the year. I just feel like this is a spot where, the Rams are 2-1 now, and everybody saw how bad Jimmy G was, and I think the public's going to be on the Rams, and I think that's the wrong side. And these games, the Niners and Rams, Niners won last game of the season last year to get in the playoffs. They lost, we all saw that the NFC Championship game. And these games are always close and tough and physical, so I'm going to take the Niners here. Just give me the home team.
All right, how can people see you this weekend? Are you going to be up here on Friday? You get the game on Saturday. It's going to be crazy in Oxford, which usually means that you're in the middle of it.
Well, here's the thing. I've been following, and I know a lot's been made about the Ole Miss student section stuff this week, and I honestly feel like it's a little overblown. But this game, we need an awesome atmosphere in the vault, and I'm thinking, I usually go for the fourth quarter and the end of it, but I think, my 39 years young self may just have to rock the student section like old days this week. And Lane wants more of the student section. Well, we're going to give him more of the student section. So look for me in there. I'm going to try to go raise a lot of hell and get a lot of people fired up for four quarters. And, I'm going to probably get some good Barstool clips out of it too. So look for me in the student section. As far as my Oxford plans for the weekend, I'm probably getting up there a little later Friday night. So I'm going to kind of take it a little easy Friday night. I'm going to try to get out to the Grove at 7:30 or 8 early, get out there, enjoy it. Weather looks like it's going to be good. So I'm kind of thinking pregame, hit the Grove. I'm going to do some videos. Hope to say hello to a lot of people there. And I think it's student section for the game. And then I'm also shout out. I know some other Ole Miss people are probably looking to do this on Sunday. Really looking forward to Memphis Music Fest this weekend too in Memphis. Black Keys and Jason Isbell Friday, Wilco, Portugal the Man, Widespread Panic Saturday, Sunday. Really, really good music fest in Memphis. They got 10% off single day passes with Cody Tallboy. So thinking Ole Miss, Kentucky, big Saturday, and Memphis Sunday, big weekend. It'll be fun.
Hey, safe travels on your way up. Since you're in New Orleans now, it's usually on your way down. On your way up, have safe travels, and look forward to visiting with you again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Please, if you see me in Oxford, say hello this weekend, and let's get a big win for the Rafters.
Thanks, Ben. That was Ben Mintz yesterday. Thanks to his time each and every week here on Hand Raise Guys, Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. I guess I forgot to say that at the very beginning. Same great products, same great services.
You did say it at the beginning of episode 2.
Oh, there you go.
That's the cutoff right there.
So Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. They sponsor this show each and every Thursday/Friday. If you live in the Oxford, Tupelo surrounding areas, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, DeSoto County, Memphis, that area, get in touch with the people at Southern, 662-429-4429. As the weather starts to cool off and you start to think about making sure that your heating system is in order, now's the time. Because you got plenty of time, but you want to do it now before the first cold snap comes in and you go to turn the heater on and it just doesn't work. So get in touch with those guys now and you'll take care of that and you won't have to worry about it. We got 7-6 Cincinnati over Miami, about middle part of second quarter, and I think it's still 14-7. BYU over Utah State. I didn't see what happened with the kick. Maybe it's 14-10. Utah
State hanging in there, though. 14-10.
14-10. Okay, there you go.
Yes. 9:34 to go, second quarter.
Okay, cool. How about that?
Because some idiot, I guess not idiot, may win, but Darren Ravel points out that someone at MGM in Las Vegas bet $85,000 on BYU to win. It will only net $3,400 if they win.
Ooh.
So he is risking
85.
Yeah, well, I mean, 85 grand.
85 grand. It's insane.
Because they lose. He loses 85 grand to win. Yeah, 3,400.
I need the Bengals to win by 4 more. Period. That's what I need. I'm all in. If I have
you wouldn't be happy if they just won by 2?
If I have to put the jersey on, I'm gonna put the jersey on.
At what point do you feel like that's the case?
Jersey.
What is the point of no return that the jersey is required?
Third quarter.
Because you don't really want to put the jersey on.
No, because it's a little big.
It's large.
When it was purchased, I was a little bigger than I am now.
Yeah, and white. It's kind of big anyway. Like it's boxy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of.
But I was significantly bigger than I. Yeah. It's just good and bad. Mostly good.
There's bad.
I mean, the bad is that it doesn't fit, but it's a good thing that it doesn't
Okay.
fit.
I mean, we find a tailor, we can get it hemmed. Take
Yeah,
it
I
in.
guess you could. It doesn't matter.
It'd
It's
be odd for a jersey.
total silliness. All right, so two good teams. You can tell these are two good teams. I mean, obviously NFL good teams, but these are good NFL teams. Halfway through the
I
second
made
quarter,
fun of Mike McDaniel, and he's done a hell of a job.
he's done a great job. I think his team's bought in already. Yeah,
Has kind of a college atmosphere to it. He's a little more
more rah-rah.
spunky,
Yeah. I think he coaches with positivity, is what they say.
He does.
Yeah,
He's
Which
not
is-
yelling at them the same way.
yeah, it's probably the way to be. Frankly, young people.
Got a young team.
Burrow has not looked the same this year, and I wonder how much of that is missing so much of camp, missing so much of the preseason.
Versus actually being the knee.
Yeah, well, but the appendix, you can't do a lot of things. I wonder if he feels as strong as he normally does. Stuff like that takes a minute. All right, we're going to open the phone lines. If you guys want to call, great. I need to put that up. It's going to take a second for me to find it.
Oh, the number?
But I will. I've got it here somewhere.
Okay.
There's a lot in this particular overlay system. See, he's throwing off his back foot. He just doesn't have as much. He doesn't have as much strength. I don't think he feels as good as he did a year ago. All right, there's the number. If you want to call it, 662-259-8563. These Thursday nights are kind of up to you guys. You're the producer. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Drew in Madison. How y'all doing tonight?
Hey, Drew, we're good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. Got a big game this weekend. I can't really complain. So,
Who are you playing, Tulsa? Oh, I'm kidding. It's a joke. Never mind.
so just like I'm a little bit behind in the stream or whatever, but y'all were talking about Mike McDaniel for a second.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I have kind of a college approach, and it's just so funny, like the juxtaposition between him, who's been kind of a career NFL guy, and then Saban when he was there. I remember the video of him making that player cry, and just how much things have changed in like the last 15 years between like pro football and college and all of that.
Yeah, sure.
I remember thinking the McDaniel guy was kind of a goober, but I kind of liked him too. And it's interesting is all really. And just I don't know if a guy like Kiffin 20 years ago would be like a surefire, a shoe-in for like a head coach in the college game, just because of his personality and kind of quirkiness.
Yeah, it's the way. I mean, we've talked about this before. We've gotten on these parenting things. I don't think that
it would have been seen as a negative 20 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think that
Not tough enough.
20 years ago he'd have gotten eaten alive, McDaniel.
Yeah.
Today pro football's a young person's game. I mean, the guys that play it for the most part are in their early to mid 20s. There's exceptions, right? But for the most part, that's who you're dealing with. And those people are they're not responsive. This generation, and this is not a criticism at all, but that this generation is not responsive to getting yelled at. They don't.
No,
that's not how you motivate. You motivate them other ways, and it makes sense that some of the coaches who are successful right now are guys who do it that way.
I mean, in some ways, Pete Carroll at USC was kind of the precursor to all this, right? I mean, just totally kind of different than normal mode at the time. I kind of wonder if that was a foreshadowing in some ways.
Yeah.
He definitely had a looseness about his tenure that.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about it that way, but you're right. He was kind of a pioneer. He did it in a way that made people.
People thought it was just like an SC culture thing, but it wasn't. It was just a way to handle young kids.
Yeah.
Frankly. I mean, he sort of got a pass because of being, California cool and all the open stuff and all that, whatever. But
you can peel the paint off the walls and it be effective, but only if you do it it's got to be a one-off. It's got to be oh, God, coach is pissed. And then it's, you know what? He's right to be pissed. It can't be, oh, God, coach is pissed again. because then they tune you out,
Yeah.
and you lose them.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
you know,
Especially today.
It's not like we were in high school, you know.
Yeah.
It's just
I feel like I was on the tail end of that, like the hardcore coach that, you know, just chews you out over every little thing versus the kind of the new age a little bit. And I'd say it's almost, for me, I found it more effective when, like, I was yelled at deserving, like, I deserved it more. Like, it meant more. Like, I was like, oh, yeah, I definitely deserve that, as opposed to, oh, here we go again.
I mean, I've told this story. It's one of the things that sticks out. We were doing tackling drills, and they were like, flip your hips. And I didn't know what the hell that meant, really, you know? And it was.
How do you do that?
I don't know. And it was, you know, and it was, we're going to find out who's getting, you know, and who's not getting, you know. And I'm like 16, and I'm thinking, well, I'm not. I mean, that's not happening for me. Like nothing along those lines is happening for me. And, you know, and I do it, and he's like, you're not. And I'm like, I know, I could have told you that before we started this drill, that's not happening. I'm 16 years old. And
well, that's when I want to yell at the coach, is like, well, that's your job, is to teach me how to do it.
Yeah. And so,
I obviously don't know.
But now, I mean, that coach he'd get in deep trouble for insinuating something like that. So I just think times have changed, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. Well, look, I decided to type out some, like, questions, because I typically get, like, ADD and forget all them, but just some, like, things from, like, past podcasts this week and stuff. The first thing I thought of was, like, Kiffin's attendance frustrations, and I know that's kind of been a common theme throughout the week, but you know, like, I'm 30 years old, got 2 kids under 5, and when I was in school and growing up, like, it was a lot easier to go to a game as far as, like, financially and well, that's relative, I guess, but especially, like, just, like, you know, parking, tailgating, cost of, like, food and drinks in the
Hey, Drew.
Things like that.
Hey, Drew. I'm going to interrupt you 1 second just so people can know what we're looking at, because we're talking about this as it happens. Tua Tagovailoa was thrown to the ground last week, and
I just saw this. Holy cow!
And watch his fingers. Like,
oh my gosh!
His body,
it
tensed up.
His body sort of locks up as he was thrown down, and this makes you wonder. I mean, this is a real story here. The NFLPA had an issue with Tua coming back into the game.
It was Tua last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's right.
On Sunday. So here we are 5 days later. 5 days later, and you start to wonder, was that – because that looked like his head hit the turf really hard. Yeah, and so this is going to become – we're watching kind of a story unfold in real time. The NFLPA is going to say, what did you do?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Drew, I'm sorry to interrupt.
I mean, really, though. No, but, like, I mean, I watched the Tua hit live on Sunday, and I just saw the replay of it now.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's not good, man. Like, that's like I don't know if y'all saw the Georgia Tech receiver after Otis Reese hit him or whatever, you know, the targeting call or whatever. Like, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the call, but, like, that motor function stuff, I mean, that's just, like, scary.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, like, to Lane Kiffin's credit, the other day, he was asked a question about the call on who got targeting Otis.
Yeah, Otis.
Otis got the call in the Tulsa game, and he said, "Yeah, you know, you got to legislate that out of the game." He was upset about the call on Jonathan Mingo, the kind of the crackback block, but he was. Even though that cost him one of their more physical players for the first half of the Kentucky game, he was like, no, you got to call that. We've got to get that out of the game. And you do. You've got to get the head stuff out of the game or else.
Well, I mean, think back. What was it, Kiffin's first year, the tight end who I can't remember what happened, but at practice, like, they had to, like, airlift him to
Marcus Thomas,
the Baptist or whatever. Yeah. And he was like, I don't want Knox to ever play football, like, that whole thing. Like, I mean, that's just, like, it seems like with the way the game is so much faster and more physical than it's ever been. And, I mean, look, Tua's still on the ground. Like, this is insane, man. I mean, it's just – it's like, Neal, like what you have said about, like, you know, soccer may not be, you know, in 10 years the leading sport, but, like, I've noticed it too. Like, I don't see people playing – I mean, look at his hands. I mean, oh my goodness.
Yeah, no. Look, football.
Something neurological.
Something
there.
neurological happened. Football.
I mean, he smoked his head. Oh,
Look how hard his head hits that turf. I've been on that turf. That is artificial. Ooh, look at that. And you just can't help but wonder if that is.
Makes you sick.
You can't help but wonder if there's a carryover from what happened on Sunday. I mean, that has to be the story that's being asked right now. They're bringing out a board.
I mean, I think that's completely fair.
There's a stretcher and a board to take Tua Tagovailoa off the field. This is a scary moment right here.
Well, look, Neal, it's two things. Something needs to change, obviously. Some of it is the game is violent, but B, we got to stop playing on turf, like artificial turf. I mean, Sterling Shepard tore his ACL just running, jogging down the field.
Yeah.
On top of all the
I
other
agree.
cancer-related stuff. I don't know if you've seen the documentary about it. Was there's a documentary about all the rubber that's underneath the turf. It's from recycled tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's very unhealthy.
It gets in our shoes when we walk on the field.
crazy.
We get rubber pellets all in our shoes.
Yeah, I get I'll take my literally I'll go down to the field with 5 minutes left, 6 minutes left, and I'm basically just standing in a couple of spots. I'm walking, I don't know, by the time it's all said and done, walking back and forth, I might walk 80, 90 yards. And in my shoes, when I come home and I take my shoes off, some of those pellets will come out. It's just Ole Miss uses grass now, so that doesn't happen. But I'm talking about back in the day when they had the turf field. You'd get that stuff all in your shoes. No matter you could be out there for just a few minutes, and that's us just walking around. I mean, Chase would go tackle people, but I never did. And so, but I mean, the players are on the ground, right? They're being tackled or tackling or whatever, or diving for a ball or whatnot. That stuff's getting all over them, and they're inhaling some of that stuff.
In their mouths and their lungs.
Yeah, of course.
Dude, we would go back in the day after games. I was in school from 2011, 2010 to 15. Okay, we would go sneak onto the stadium after games. Sometimes the lights would be on, and we go play football. It's nobody cared at that point. I guess things have changed since, but we go play, and dude, you'd be covered in, if you fell down, you'd have skin burns and you get in your mouth and just all this stuff, and it's there's no way. And I watched that documentary. I think it was about the women's soccer. It was something regarding soccer, and just all these health problems that were coming from it. And it's just how's that even a thing in the NFL? I know Cincinnati's not necessarily the best place to grow grass, but something's got to change. Oh
yeah,
they just keep playing it over and over.
I've been on that field. Yeah, his head just goes down so hard. It's just a turf field. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of give to it. Has he moved at all?
I haven't seen his legs move once, and out. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
I just.
Someone says in the thread that's a fencing response. I don't know what a fencing response is.
No, I mean, I've been Googling around just for kind of what happened to him, and again, keep this ultimate grain of salt.
Sure.
Says that it's common for the hands to clench into a fist and fingers to curl into themselves as the result of severe spasticity, which is caused by disconnections and miscommunications between the brain and the muscles.
Okay.
Essentially, it's severe concussion, also possibilities of strokes. It's things that are very, very severe.
They cut the face mask or took the face mask off. They've got him strapped onto a backboard and taking him off on a stretcher.
Is he awake?
I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it. I saw him give a thumbs up to his teammates, but
did he? Okay,
he may have just been moving his fingers.
That's good if he did.
Commentator, medical expert said the fingers indicate a neurological response to head trauma.
Okay.
God. Tua has been such unlucky dude with injuries. I mean, even at Alabama, just freak stuff like the hip.
Yeah, the hip thing is an incredible story. The doctor who essentially saved his career lives here in Oxford, has been on our show before.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that dude that y'all had on in the spring with after Graham broke his wrist. Is that the dude?
No, I think that might have been. No, I don't remember which one. We've had several, so I'm trying not to. I'm trying to remember which was which. I'm trying to not offend because multiple listeners here. We've gone through a good many special orthopedic doctors over the. Roland did the hip, I believe, and then we've had several others on over the time.
Yeah. So.
Man.
Anyway, we interrupted I interrupted your questions that you had intended to ask. I apologize. That was a pretty big developing story that was happening.
I'm sorry for interrupting the news for you. I mean, that's crazy, man. All I was saying is just like Kiffin's frustrations with attendance, and like I totally get where he's coming from. Like I do get it. I just, it's twofold, right, Neal? Like some of it is, again, it's multiple things. It's things cost more than they used to. And also the pandemic happened and everybody got used to just being able to like hang out at the house with like, or like if you weren't scared of everything, like I wasn't really nervous about anything. So like we'd hang out with our friends and watch the games and it was fun. It was easy, convenient. A lot of my friends have young kids, all that kind of stuff. And like now, I mean, I remember going to games as a kid with my dad and my family. I remember going like when I first got married and like, it's kind of, Ole Miss has made it difficult in a lot of ways because they've monetized so much of it with parking. The concessions are crazy expensive. I mean, just for what they are. Tickets are expensive, all that stuff. And I mean, like, and so like people say monetize the Grove. Well, I think that just will compound the problem even more because you already, like, a lot of people are already paying like $400, $500, $600 just for like a Grove tent right now. So like you add like, oh, we got to pay a reservation fee or whatever that is for a spot in the Grove. I just think it's going to make it worse. I get that we're trying to generate revenue and that's like, it's kind of this weird kind of catch-22 where you're trying to maximize profit without losing demand. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, there's
the inflations though are coming from things outside of the university. I mean, frankly, Ole Miss hasn't really raised prices. I mean, the tickets are the same, the parking's the same. I mean, it's everything around it. It's hotel ridiculousness. It's all those things that have caused the issues.
It's hotels.
I mean, it's not necessarily Ole Miss's fault, but like, I mean, look, I got two kids under 5 years old, and like, I mean, thinking about. Even the trolley, like the bus system is like a pain in the butt because you got to walk half a mile, a quarter of a mile. I mean, maybe I'm just lazy or out of shape. I am all those things, obviously, but it's just, it used to be you could park somewhere like, it didn't have to be a designated area. There was like a little bit of like a flexibility with that on game days and there's not that anymore. But like, I get where Kiffin's coming from, but like you have said from the beginning, Neal, on SEC home games, it's going to be packed. It's going to be an amazing atmosphere. So, like, why make it such a big issue? I mean, I get it. Like, maybe he's trying to get, like, the fact that we have 27 new players that have not played necessarily in that type of an environment.
I think he was off base.
Or something like this weekend.
Yeah, I think he was off base. I do. I think that
it felt like bubble effect.
Get in, T. That a baby. I think there needed to be somebody who said to him, "Hey, this is a bad idea. Don't talk about it. It's gonna be." Yeah, and I don't think he has that around him. Hey, Drew, we're going to let you go. We got other people trying to call in. I appreciate the time very much.
Okay, I'm sorry, man.
No, you're good. You're great. You're great. Thank you. Bengals score on a play from Burrow to T. Higgins. They're up 12-7, I guess, pending the PAT. I think you just kick it here, don't you? You don't go for two?
No.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Jarrett.
What's up, Jarrett? How are you?
Doing pretty good. So, yeah, I turned it on right when you guys started talking about Tua and saw that. Woof. That's rough. And then what happened right after that, too. Man, you hate to see it.
Yeah, of course.
So we were talking earlier you were talking earlier this week about the NCAA being toothless. Did you see the ruling that was handed down today?
On who? No, I didn't. Thursdays are a day for me that I'm almost completely out of the loop.
Air Force got put on probation for 2 years
Oh, for
today.
what? Y'all cheating over there?
Apparently there was impermissible recruiting contact during COVID protocols.
There you go. You should have obeyed the protocols. It's the Air Force, for God's sake.
46 official visits over the next 2 academic years. Ban on unofficial visits from September 1st through October 12th.
Oh, wow.
4-week ban on recruiting communications this academic year. A reduction by 34 in evaluation days. And this is something I've never heard of, and I'll tell you why it is in a second. A reduction of the size of the football roster by 10.
Oh, from 105 to 95?
I guess,
Yeah,
yeah.
well.
And I would presume that the reason for that is because you can't take away scholarships because the entire student body is on full scholarship. So instead of taking scholarships, they just reduce the roster.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the details of it. I mean, my guess is, I don't know. They've hit a couple of teams on the whole COVID thing. So that's
and show call for the guys who get it. I think all of which are no longer there. One of them was a linebackers coach at Wisconsin, but he resigned.
Okay.
Anyways, we didn't talk about it earlier. Did y'all put the Navy game in Neal's picks? I did not get a chance to look at it today.
I did not put. I failed to do that. I saw it when it was too late, and it was too late.
So that one used to be like the marquee one for us, at least, because that was the one you needed to win. But it's kind of flip flopped now because Navy is terrible and now Army's the good team. So like that's the one that really matters. So, anyways, I was able to start listening. Were there any updates on injuries or any of that kind of stuff for Ole Miss this weekend? Or?
Not really. Just we kind of talked about it in the first hour. There's talk about a shuffle on the offensive line that's based around an injury, but I don't know how. We don't really know how true that is. Whether Caleb Warren's unavailable or just kind of available, whether there's an emergency plan that they're putting in place. No one really knows. I was told some stuff off the record that ended up sort of getting reported elsewhere, but I don't know. I mean, we got burned on injury stuff last year, and I've been kind of careful with it this year.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, everybody knows Kiffin plays that stuff pretty close to the vest, so I was just curious.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
all right.
Yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that probation. I don't think an academy's ever been hit on probation like that before that I've ever heard of. So pretty crazy. But
thanks for the call,
guys, I'll hang up.
Okay.
Yep.
All
Thanks.
Right, bye. I'll put the phone number up, 662-259-8563 if you'd like to call in. 14-6 Bengals, but the Dolphins driving here early, and 17-17 Utah State and BYU. I think we can slow our roll on BYU as some national contender.
Not
I think
time,
we can stop that. Hey, who do we have?
Yeah, this is Walt in Birmingham.
Hey, Walt, what's up?
Not too much. My wife is 36 weeks pregnant with twins.
Oh, wow.
So,
your life's about to change.
Yeah, right. That's
Are you having boys or girls? Or do you know?
Get your sleep while you can.
It's true.
I, thanks to you and Tyler, have had my first couple of rains these past couple of weeks, and they will not be my last couple of rains that I'm going to have.
Are you having boys or girls, or do you know?
One boy, one girl.
Oh, how about that?
And
are these your first?
First two. Yep, first two kids.
Oh. Is the wife miserable right now?
She is very uncomfortable. She's going to work every day. She works at a hospital. So amazingly, she's not on bed rest or anything. But, yeah, she's just ready to have them. I mean, she's 6 weeks past ready to have them at this point. So just kind of, feels like we're really in the, the red zone of the pregnancy. This is when Hugh Freeze would be waving for Jeremy Liggins to come running onto the field and take over at quarterback, obviously.
That's good.
Yeah,
well, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I dropped a couple of hints about, maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for me to just run over to Oxford this weekend, and those were received about as well as you think they would have been received.
Walt, I think you need to let ESPN bring the game to you, champ. That would not be advisable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a good strategy at all. Yeah, you need to be on support.
I haven't left the house more than probably a couple of miles away for about a month now, so I'm sticking with that. I think just ride it out.
Yeah, that's probably wise, Walt. That's probably smart.
Yeah, that's what wiser men than me have told me to do. Just sit real still and be real quiet.
Yeah.
But anyway, so on top of that, earlier you were talking with the caller about being asked to flip your hips and not knowing what that means. It reminded me of the Coach 30. He always says the hips are stiff, girlfriend must be miserable kind of comment on the guys running down the field. But
that guy's great.
Neal takes that. He every week he's all in on that guy.
I love that guy. He's great.
Yeah, I do too. I can't wait till the new ones come out. But I was pretty surprised today that Tyler's money line pick was Arkansas, Alabama. I mean, I wasn't stunned, but because it's Tyler, you never know what you're going to get. But I'm surprised that's the direction he went with that one.
Well, I know who he talked to, and he told me later what he based it on, and
right.
I mean, I kind of get it. I still think it's nuts, but
yeah, he might end up looking like a genius, but it was wild that he gave you hell for picking, Oregon State to cover against USC, and then he goes to pick Arkansas as a money line pick.
He again, I know where he got it, and so once because we got finished, I was like, what did you base that on? And I know I know the conversation he had and who he had it with, and so I was like, oh, well, that's interesting, but still,
yeah, and
wasn't enough.
Maybe.
Well, here's the knock on Alabama, whether it's Arkansas or Tennessee or Ole Miss or LSU or somewhere down the road. The knock on Alabama in the coaching world is they don't have the receivers they've had in previous years, and it's a game changer for them. And the person he talked to was basically saying, hey, look, Arkansas is going to move the football. They're going to score some points. It's not going to be like the Georgia game a year ago where Arkansas couldn't score.
Yeah,
they're going to score.
I love the 17 taking the points there. I mean, I think that's going to hit.
Yeah, I laid the points and actually feel pretty good about it. I think Alabama's going to score a lot of points. But I have it more like 42-21, that range. I do think Arkansas is going to get into the 20s. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet KJ has a really big game after last weekend.
I would think. I mean, this is we talked about this on that show. This is a real challenge week for Pittman because his team took it very, very hard. And they were still really struggling on Monday, according to people who know their program.
Yeah.
And like someone said, and I said this, I repeated it today. I mean, that's good and bad. It's bad in that your team's still thinking about Saturday. It's good in that they care. Because I mean, we've covered teams that lost and they didn't. I mean, 10 minutes after the game, they're like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I mean, and you don't want that. You don't want that either. You want kids to care, but you've got to be able to turn the page, and I'm not sure they've turned the page. I think there were so many what ifs in that game for them that's going to be hard for them to kind of move on.
Yeah. Real quick, I know both of you watched Breaking Bad. Have either one of you watched Better Call Saul all the way through yet, or started it at least?
No.
I'm a season behind. My TV watching has been ridiculous. There's multiple shows I'd like to get to, and I just haven't been doing it. I'm tired by the end of the day, and I haven't done it. I mean, really, but that is one where I'm really, really frustrated with myself because I have even like group texts of people who are talking about it. I'm having to avoid and that kind of thing because it's not better than Breaking Bad, but there's an argument that it is better, and I understand that.
Yeah, and it really ramps up. It's a slow burn, a little slower burn than Breaking Bad, but yeah, we finished it and then rewatched Breaking Bad and the El Camino movie.
Why?
we rewatched Breaking Bad 4 or 5 times. My
Oh.
wife and I met while she was finishing that show.
We've
and I'd
said
already
this multiple
finished
times,
it.
though. Like, the way Neal watched it, it's so different because you don't get the subtlety of Walter's change. Like, when you binge it, it's
Right.
so fast that you're not waiting a week for the next episode and then months for the new season. And it's this real gradual, slow process. Instead, we're doing kids and trains
Yeah.
within a couple months of watching.
Yeah, and my wife watched Breaking Bad right before she watched Friday Night Lights. So you can see knowing Landry as Todd first is a little different transition as well.
For sure.
But all right, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Good luck.
Thanks.
Oh, I didn't mean to miss the call.
Hit the wrong button.
I didn't even hit a button. It just sort of happened. Teddy Bridgewater, your boy. The Saints maybe should have just
He was fine. Teddy's all right.
He's leading Miami down to the 7 here, making plays with his feet, with his arm.
He's fine.
I like Teddy.
Do you?
Yeah, he's a good player. 15 seconds to go in the half. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Jonathan from Hattiesburg.
Hey, Jonathan, what's up?
I've just want to say to Chase, your soundbite on the video was epic.
Thank
It
you.
had to happen. It had to be done. It made the video beautiful.
It fit the video well.
And
It's fine.
Yeah, it was perfect. We do a show down here in Hattiesburg, and obviously we only have like 1,000 listeners, but if mine couldn't have been aired, it's not about sports or anything, but I was airing grievances during the Alabama series, and it got really dark. But for Neal, are you doing the pick six at the local corner market for your IPAs? Are you a seasonal guy? A lot of coverage has been on the football. I need to know about the beer.
Yeah, I do a lot of different ones. Tonight I'm having Voodoo Ranger, the IPA from New Belgium. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I sort of just try different things. I've got a bunch that I like. I like Ghost in the Machine, which is not really a pale ale. I mean, an IPA, but it's just I like it a lot. I like Bell's Two Hearted. I like most of Bell's stuff. And then I just sort of experiment. Yeah, sometimes I'll do a pick six just for the hell of it. There are a couple of IPAs in Alabama that I like. I like the one out of Memphis that I'm having a hard time thinking of at this moment. There's a couple when we go up to Arkansas that the brewery in Bentonville that I like a lot. And then I like the one out of Little Rock, the Back 40. It's beer. I pretty much like it. There's grades of beers. There's an IPA out of Colorado that is.
How'd you get into that one?
When I flew into the Denver airport, I tried it, and it's one of the best ones I've ever had. It's
really,
yeah. It's first cast IPA. It's made by I can't quite read it there. Elevation Beer Company. It's out of a little kind of a very, very rural town in Colorado, and it's fantastic. One of the best I've ever had.
Well, I'll have to go back and listen and make a note of that.
If
you see,
you live in Mississippi,
chili,
they won't ship to us in Mississippi because beer. But if you live in like Texas or somewhere, I highly recommend getting that shipped to you. It's fantastic.
I got you. Well, I'm going to make a recommendation, and I'll hang up. If you have Urban South, do you ever see any of that?
I've never seen that. Where's it out of?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It's just in the corner market.
Okay.
I think it's out of New Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah, their Oktoberfest is the best Oktoberfest ever created.
Oh,
Urban South out of New Orleans. Yeah, I like Oktoberfest. I'll have to see if I can find that.
Yeah, so check that out, and all Revs by a billion. You guys have a good night.
Take care. Hey, who do we have? Oh, I was trying to get to it. Hey, who do we have? Hey, caller, who do we have?
This is Addison Crippen.
Addison, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, we're wonderful.
Y'all sure have been busy this afternoon, haven't y'all?
Yeah, Been a busy
day.
Been a busy Thursday. Been a week. We made it.
What y'all been up to?
What's that?
What y'all been up to other than that?
That's it.
That's all Neal's done today. That's it.
That's it. I've worked. I went for a walk, and that's the extent of my day. I've gotten up, I worked, and then I went for a walk, and then I've worked some more.
Well, I'm just trying to prepare myself for this early morning kickoff on Saturday.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
You're the only one. Everybody else loves it. You're the first person I've heard complain about it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm kidding.
No way.
Yeah, there is a way. There is a way. You just got to get up Saturday morning and get up and get moving and have a mimosa or have a Bloody Mary and go.
Oh, no. 15.
Huh? No, then you can't have that. Then you can get up and have a coffee, and you just got to get. You just got
non-alcoholic. We can get the tomato juice and the Worcestershire and the whole deal.
You can do everything except the vodka, but you can have a coffee or a Coke and just get moving. It's a game.
You can have a rain.
You could have a rain. Rain's recommended for people 16 and older, but you're 15. That's probably close enough. You just got to get moving. That's as simple as that. Go to the game, and then after the game, you can still go back to the Grove. The Grove's going to be open till 6:30.
Right.
So you're either gonna be super happy and pumped, or you're gonna be miserable. And so you get, and that's completely out of your control. So all you can do is go cheer and hope. And when it's over, it is what it is, right?
I'm the person that called in probably about 6 months ago, and y'all sent me a signed football, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh,
that's right.
I'm glad.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I also wanted to ask y'all a question. So whenever I'm older, I want to major in sports broadcasting, and I was wondering if y'all had any tips.
Yeah, I got tips. In all seriousness, reach out to one of us because I'll give some serious advice to you. My main advice would be to make sure. So with the journalism degree, you're going to have a whole lot of elective hours. You know what those are?
Kind of.
Okay, so
Not
you're
very much.
Okay, well, you're going to have a whole lot of elective hours. I would highly, 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 highly recommend that you get a double major, that you get a degree in some form of business, that you get a degree in a field that you could utilize. That if you decided that journalism was not for you and it's a really difficult field, that you could go into something else where you're not restricted to journalism. I would go to a school. I would go to if you're really serious about journalism, I would go to a school that has a really strong journalism school. I would go to a school that is really good with job placement. And
also, if you're doing sports broadcasting, still take writing classes. Take the writing classes.
Yes.
Know how to write.
Yes.
I've been English since I was younger, and I've been super stuck on being a sports broadcaster even since I was about 10 years old. So I think that's pretty cool because my dad's always loved it. I've always been so interested in it because, most kids are most girls especially aren't very interested in sports broadcasting. But I was always the little girl that was just looking at the TV after the games and seeing how everybody was reacting to the games, and was super excited about that. That's my favorite part of the game.
Yeah, and hey, here's a big thing here, Addison, is don't restrict your training to sports. If you're interested in journalism and reporting, be able to do journalism and reporting on things other than sports. Don't restrict yourself.
It'll make you better at sports.
It's going to make you better at sports, and it's also going to give you a better chance out of college to get a job. And it's a really difficult field. In all seriousness, if you're super serious about it, reach out to one or both of us, and I'll be happy. I would be happy to hop on a call with you and your parents and whatnot if you're really serious about it, because it's a really difficult field. It's a fun field, but it's really difficult right now to get in, to move up, and you need to kind of know what you're doing.
Right, and I've been practicing for public speaking all the time because I do lots of pageants like state titles, and I have to do stuff on stage questions and interviews. So I'm definitely getting used to public speaking.
That's great. And Chase gave you great advice. Write as much as you can. Do a blog.
Just practice writing.
Right. Practice writing. Read a lot. Write a lot. Read a lot of people that you like. Different people, not just sports. Yeah, just you want to expand your abilities as much as you can. So it sounds like you got a pretty good head on your shoulders. So yeah, just reach out to us and let us know. We'll be happy to help you.
Thank y'all so much. Just nice talking to y'all.
You
Thank you,
too.
Addison.
Bye.
All right, bye.
I didn't know how old she was. I feel bad now. But it's okay. I mean,
Sorry. We bounced back. It was okay.
well, I mean, you know, my heart was in the right place. Let's see. It's 14-12 Bengals at the half. Tua is left the game with head and neck injuries. He's been transferred to the University of Cincinnati. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, is this Neal and Chase?
It is. Who's this?
Moose.
I'm sorry?
This is Moose.
Hey, Moose, what's up?
Oh, nothing much, man. Just sitting here thinking I've got an SEC Pick'em challenge on my hand. I'm trying to win about $3,000 for this thing, and I'm calling in to give a little
You call the wrong people.
advice.
We'll try, but I'm not responsible for what happens.
Maybe I need to call Tyler for this one, actually.
Maybe.
Anyway, so the rules of this challenge: one, you pick a different SEC team to win each week. You survive the season. Once you choose a team, they cannot be selected again.
Ooh,
If
okay.
you're selected, you're eliminated from the pool.
Yep.
So you can only select 2 non-conference games, and you can only pick against Vanderbilt twice.
Oh, okay.
So, love the Commodores, but I mean, it'd be really easy to line your picks up with Vandy. So that's a pretty fair rule. And due to the scheduling of 14 conference games in a 13-week window, there's going to be 1 week where I have to pick 2 winners. At
Okay.
the moment, I'm 4-0, obviously, because still calling in. I picked Vanderbilt to beat Elon in week 1.
Smart.
Arkansas to beat South Carolina in week 2.
Yep.
So I can't Vandy or Arkansas. Missouri beating Abilene Christian week 3.
Yep.
4 was Auburn beating Missouri. Oh,
Ooh,
gosh.
that was close, boy. You're lucky. Woo, you're lucky to be alive right now, my man.
Let me tell you what. They lined up to kick that field goal. I was ready to kiss that pot goodbye, that $3,000.
Yeah, that was woof. Woof.
Yeah, sure enough. I didn't trust Vandy or Missouri to beat anybody outside of an FCS team, to be honest.
All right, so the teams you can't pick this week are Arkansas, Auburn, Vandy. Vandy don't play.
And Missouri.
And Missouri. You're not picking Missouri to beat Georgia.
I cannot pick Missouri, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, or Auburn this
Okay,
week.
gotcha. All right. Well, you probably
And I
wouldn't pick any of those
pick
teams.
non-game.
Let me find the SEC games.
Yeah, I'm looking.
All right, I got it up. Ole Miss, Kentucky, Alabama, Arkansas, A&M State, LSU, Auburn, Georgia, Missouri. I mean, are you going LSU over Auburn?
That's
And
the-
getting rid of the Tigers?
That's the-
I
that's the-
tentatively had Georgia over Missouri, but once I used that, I feel like Georgia.
I just hate to use Georgia.
I hate to
there.
use Georgia up now because you're going to want
Yeah.
Georgia later because they're going to probably win a bunch of games. I mean, the one I would be inclined to go with here, I think I'd go with LSU over Auburn. I'm a little worried about Texas A&M,
no,
and Mississippi
hell
State
no.
because State could win that game. And
Yeah, I think they
LSU's going to be like a 7-win team. So you
Have you mapped out the season on what you kind of hope is there later?
Yeah, I've changed it a little bit, watching some teams, realizing, hey, LSU might not be as good as they were hyped up to be. A&M, same
Yeah.
situation.
and hey, they don't have to cover, right? They
No,
just
they
have to win.
No, they just have to win
Oh,
outright.
yeah, I think I'm going LSU here.
Yeah, so
Because I'd be a little
But you don't want to
worried.
burn Bama either.
I don't want to burn Bama here, and I don't want to burn
Yeah.
Georgia, and I'd be a little worried about the State Texas A&M game, and I'd be nervous about Kentucky Ole Miss too.
I'm not putting anything on Kentucky Ole Miss. That game could go either way. That game could be nuts.
I think I'd burn LSU here, and I think you're going to be fine. If all you got to do is win the game, you don't have to cover. You just got to win the game. I think you're going to be okay there. And then they're so weird that you might wish you had them later, but there's a decent chance you don't.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Yeah. I think I'm going to go with LSU this week. The way I had it originally, what I was thinking was Georgia this week, Florida beating Missouri next week. I was trying to line up my games with Missouri because I watched that Missouri-Auburn game this week.
Yeah,
and man, I don't think either one of those teams is going to win more than one game in the SEC, if that. I mean, I don't know. Auburn, it could be weird, and I know there's some kind of juju there on the Plains sometimes where they get a stupid bounce, especially it seems to always happen against like Ole Miss, but that game's on the road this year. But I don't know. I think Carson's going to be out soon, and I don't trust Auburn to beat anybody right now. So that's why I went ahead and slated them to pick Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good pick. I would have done it too, but boy. Yeah, I think the more I think about it, the more I think I'd go LSU here.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to win. You're trying to win the whole thing. Getting eliminated this week versus getting eliminated next week doesn't matter.
That's true.
That way you save Alabama, you save Georgia, you save Ole Miss, you save Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'd do.
All right, that's what we're going to do. Yeah. Hopefully, I hope that doesn't go awry. I think that'll be good. And hopefully we'll survive and talk to y'all about it next week.
All right. Good luck.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
You too. That's a kind of a fun deal.
It's good.
But you get eliminated early, and you're like, damn.
It's over.
And he was a half yard from getting eliminated.
Yeah.
Last week was crazy. Those were two crazy games. Mizzou, Auburn, and
I couldn't decide where to be pissed off with Mizzou, Auburn. Like, I was going to be mad either way.
I felt bad for the kid.
Yeah.
I did. That's the old soft me. Is this Grind?
Yo, it's Grind.
What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. Just enjoying the show. Okay, I agree with that. I think LSU wins the game too, but man, if I was him, just a bystander, I wouldn't put myself through like an Auburn game. Like you saw what that was, and I'm gonna just tell you now. Whenever Auburn fans want to coach fire, bro, it just never works our way. It comes, but man, it's like the road less traveled. It's never like he can just go out and lose or go out and get blown out or anything like that.
So how do you feel about Hartwell-Freeze combination?
Oh, who now?
John Hartwell is your new athletics director.
Yeah.
I don't know who the hell that is.
He's the AD.
John Hartwell.
He's the AD at Utah State. Used to be the associate AD here.
He wear glasses?
No.
I don't think so.
No. John doesn't wear glasses.
No, he doesn't. He's from Alabama.
Okay. I mean, I guess. I'm not sure, man.
What do you think? What do you think about Hugh Freeze being the coach?
With ADs, like with Allen Green, he tried to like boost himself up for giving Bruce Pearl an extension. Like, come on, dude. So we'll see.
What about Hugh Freeze? How do you feel about Hugh Freeze as your football coach?
I say this, man. I'm more cool with it than my family is. Well, I say my uncle's cool with it, but the women in my family, for some reason, my granny, my mom,
for some reason.
Gosh, I wonder what reason that could possibly be.
Man, look, I don't know. It baffles me.
No, it doesn't. It does not baffle you. So how's that going to go over at Auburn when they hire Freeze and all the jokes come and stuff? Are people going to be cool with it, or what happens?
I think it depends. If Freeze can win an off season, like landing recruits and whatnot, then people are gonna be like, all right, whatever, y'all leave our coach alone. You already know. You don't report. You can cover Auburn.
Yeah.
If that dude, if he can get a little magic going, hey, he's ours. You already know what's up. And I ain't even gonna lie. I'm gonna be right there with him defending you Freeze too. So I ain't even gonna lie. So I ain't even gonna play no game. But man, before we get to the SEC, Iowa, yo Iowa Hawkeyes. I want to go to a game in Iowa, and you know why?
Let's go, Grunt.
Just because I have a feeling, just because I have weird luck when I go to games, And I think the day I go to an Iowa game, the Iowa offense will come out there, put up 550 yards, four passing touchdowns.
Neal's going to fly you out there, then.
I just felt something.
You know what I think? I think the Iowa fans will walk out the stadium like, man, I don't know what that was today. That wasn't Iowa football today.
I'm kind of breathless right now.
You said what now?
I'm kind of breathless right now. I mean, I felt something.
I think the Iowa fans would be borderline pissed off to see a good offense.
I don't think they'd be pissed off, Grind. I think they'd be pretty. I don't think they'd know what happened. I think they'd wonder if they'd taken a couple of gummies or something.
Oh, so you don't think Iowa fans enjoy this identity that they have?
No,
you don't think that they?
I know they don't. I've read their boards and stuff. They want a new offensive coordinator. Their defense is so good that if they had a good offense, they'd be a title contender. Their defense is legit.
I think they're getting smashed this weekend.
Well, I mean, I think they're getting beat too because it's hard to dial up that defense week after week after week. But defensively, they're really good.
Yeah, and I know what being said about going into Kennett, but man, Iowa State went in there early this year, and Iowa State's average. They're solid. They're okay.
Yeah, they're fine. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Michigan wins. I mean, Caroline took Michigan and laid the points, and I think she got it right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That was a good pick right there.
Yeah. She made her debut. She's like trying to Lou Gehrig her sister.
And man, look, I'm pulling for you and these picks to make a comeback, man. I'm pulling for you.
I'm running out of time, Grind. I got to get on a roll here soon. It's hard. I don't have the connections that Siski has. Siski dials up coaches and talks to people about what's happening.
Doesn't seem fair, does it?
It feels kind of tough. I mean, I feel like this is what Mercer feels like going up against like Florida or something. You could have the best plan in the world, but you're just kind of outmatched.
Man, I think you can pull it off. I think this is going to be a good week for you. I do.
I feel good about my picks. I do. I mean, but hey, this is not the first week that I have felt good about my picks.
That is true, man.
I mean, for the people that don't, I got Washington -2.5 against UCLA. I got Minnesota -12.
I like that.
Minnesota -12. I love it. I got my guy Kane Womack in South Alabama -8.5 against ULL. I got Maryland. Loxley's getting it done at Maryland.
He's been better.
Laying 8.5 against the slumping Spartans of Michigan State. I got Oregon at home, laying 17, but Stanford's bad. And I got the Illinois money line. I got Bengals right now. I'm about to have to put the jersey on. Things are getting kind of tense. I got Bengals -3.5 tonight. I got Jacksonville +6.5 at Philadelphia. Got the Lions -4 at home versus Seattle. Las Vegas -2.5 at home versus Denver, and I got the Chiefs and a pick 'em against the Bucks.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a solid weekend. With that South Alabama game, I'm more comfortable playing that under than I am the Jags. I feel you though.
We've been kicking that ass at South Alabama. Everywhere they go, they've covered every line and they beat the hell out of people.
My only thing with teams that are undefeated or defeated against the spread is that Vegas won't let that happen for long because that'll just be easy money.
Yeah,
teams gonna go 10-2 against the spread.
It's just early October though. It's just early October. We still got time before Vegas catches on.
That is true, and I like that over in the Oregon Stanford game.
Yeah,
Oregon could cover too, but I really like that over.
Yeah, they're gonna light them up.
Yeah, but now with this the Aggies got to go to Starkville. The SEC is missing an opportunity, in my opinion, man. This should be a trophy game, like the Big Ten does. This should be like the battle for the maroon seed or something like that.
Battle for just a maroon ball or something?
Yeah, a maroon bell or something like that.
A maroon bell.
Like they're both like farmers and cows and stuff like that.
Oh, they could do that. The battle for the maroon cow.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like a cow walks across the field and all that. Yeah. It would kind of piss them off. That's why. That's kind of why I would really like for it to be.
Yeah, they don't want to play that game.
Off.
They don't want Mississippi State to be anything resembling a rival. They're better than that. I mean,
No.
yeah, they think they're better than that, and they probably are.
State wore Independence Bowl uniforms.
I know. I mean, yeah.
Independence Bowl.
I'm not one to side with Texas A&M, but on this one, they're right. They're right. Yeah, just go away. They've got bigger fish to fry.
Man, you don't think Mississippi State can have anybody. You just want them to be the lonely guy to dance, hands in the pockets,
I mean, they're
just looking down.
they're
Man,
the-
you don't want Mississippi State to have anybody.
they're the girl at the party where you just go, she's nice. I mean, she's really nice. Her mom's nice. They have a nice family. That's it. That's it. That's all. That's the extent of it.
Oh, man.
You tell your friend, hey, she's nice. And then he goes, is she really? And you're like, yeah, I mean, she's nice, but like, she's nice.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
It's like
got you,
I was
man.
in
I'm trying to
my
help out the people at Starkville.
grind. I was in my little brother's wedding, and we were lined up. One of his groomsmen was a guy named Brant Mitchell. Brant's funny guy, redheaded guy, kind of big. And we're all lined up, and we're doing the rehearsal right before the rehearsal dinner. And we're kind of lined up, and everybody's, you're seeing who you're going to escort in and escort out and all that stuff. And Brant's doing the math, 1, 2, 3, 4, and he sees her, and he goes, I always get the big one. That's kind of state, always get the big one.
And that's kind of Mississippi State, huh?
Yep,
People
that's
see
it in a
them as the
nutshell. She's there at the she's a bridesmaid, and she's a good friend, and she's sweet, but she's the big one.
There's a comedian that I like that did a little skit about
She's like,
kidnapping a
oh
big girl.
God.
And it was funny as hell. It was his name is Dion, man. It's funny as hell. But I think I got Ole Miss winning by 2 scores, like 28-17, 30-17, something like that.
You know what, man? This is that game that I don't know that you could surprise me. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, the only thing I think that would surprise me would be Kentucky big. But if you tell,
yeah, I think it's a 2-outcome game in my opinion.
Oh,
I think either Ole Miss wins like by like 7-13, or Kentucky wins by 4 or less. That's it.
Oh
yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't see Ole Miss like if it's late. I think Ole Miss either puts Kentucky away or Kentucky presses in a situation and Ole Miss takes advantage of it. That's how I see Ole Miss kind of sealing that thing up. I don't think Kentucky's gonna be able to run away with it. Like you guys said. And like I said, I just don't see Ole Miss like squeaking by Kentucky.
I know this is going to sound like a hot take.
They win.
It's going to sound like a hot take, and I don't mean for it to. I think this is a battle of quarterbacks. I think it's Levis versus Dart.
do you really?
I mean, I do. That's what I think. I mean, Kentucky's not going to win on the ground because they haven't won on the ground all year, and they're going to do what Mark Stoops' teams do, and that's take something away, and they're going to take the run away and make Dart beat them.
Yeah, but I think Kentucky defense gives more than Ole Miss's. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah,
and also, man, when you look into the analytics, Ole Miss is like 2 whole deviations better than Kentucky at efficiency. Just net team efficiency, and then that goes into who you played and team adjusted and all that stuff. So I just think over a course of 4 quarters that bears out.
Yeah.
But all right, man, it was good talking to you guys. I'm gonna keep enjoying the show.
All
You
right,
too,
enjoy,
Brian. Take care.
All right, man.
It's 14-12, getting into the third quarter.
BYU 24-17.
Yeah, BYU's fine. Oh, they're doing an onside kick. Oh, they're
BYU.
going for the kill and didn't get it. Instead, handed Utah State the ball at the.
You're the better team. Kick it deep.
Don't be cute.
Just play.
Don't be cute. Just play football.
That's what, if you were an AD, that would be the first sign to get rid of a coach if he started getting too cute too often.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
It
man.
would drive you insane.
Like if I were conducting an interview today and Kendall Briles was being interviewed, I would say, Talk to me about what happened on that third possession. What was that? You appeasing a player there? What are we doing? What was going on?
You better have a good reason.
Yeah, and I want to hear. What I want is the truth. What I want is, you know what? We had a kid. He was kind of disgruntled. We put in a package for him. We felt like we needed to do it. It was a mistake. I'll never do it again. Okay. All right. Cool. Tell me the truth. Don't go, well, what we thought was we had no. Because now you're overthinking. If you're winning a contest of wills, you don't change your strategy.
They can't hit the fastball. Don't throw the changeup.
Right.
I mean,
right. It is that. It is that. If you're up on the mound and you are throwing fastballs and they're not hitting them, they're fouling something off, they're late, they're striking out, they're weak contact. I'm throwing fastballs until somebody shows that he can hit it, and then we adjust. We don't adjust until then. We don't go, hey, you know what? I bet they're looking for fastballs. Well, hell yeah, they're looking for fastballs, but they're not hitting it.
Yeah.
A&M knew what was coming. They couldn't stop it. So when you don't do it, what are you doing to them? They go, if their reaction on the other side is, oh, thank God. They tried to run a double reverse pass. We were worried about the inside trap.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, well, Grind's exactly right. I was looking at that going, I've got to win here. When Arkansas had it 2nd and 5 at the 15, I was thinking, I got to win here. I'm going to win a game here. This is mine. And then because Siskey had A&M minus 1.5, and they win by 2 freaking points because you have a bad snap because you get cute.
Y'all had it at 1.5.
Yeah.
Is that also confusing? You have different lines for different games?
Yeah, a little bit.
Of the week?
A little bit. As a ULM grad, we're not used to this kind of complicated math. But
okay. You don't have enough points here.
No, I mean, I'm a little nervous. Not far from.
This is kind of on Cincy. They have not played well offensively.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you, Burrow's not healthy. He's not fully healthy.
You think it's firing, or you think it's just rust?
I just think it's rust. I think it's he missed the whole month of August with the appendectomy, and his appendix burst.
Yeah.
So he had issues.
That's true.
Yeah, Clemson killed me too. I don't even want to talk about it. It's depressing.
Because that was 7?
Yeah, it was 7. They go for 2, and I'm like, oh, yeah, get it. And they don't. And then I'm like, okay, well, now I know what's going to happen. I knew what would happen at that point.
Yeah, sure.
It's okay. It's just a weekend in Boise. How bad can it be? How cold can it be in Boise in December?
Average December temp in Boise.
I mean, we've got global warming. Maybe it's going to warm.
40 high, 23 low. It's not bad.
It's a day game. Be all right.
You're okay.
Yeah, I'm going to wear some thermals.
It rains 9 days on average out of December in Boise.
That would be the nightmare is the rain.
31 and raining.
Oh, let's go. Oh. Yeah, 31 and raining, and I'm in a T-shirt. Would be miserable.
Oh, because you have to wear a T-shirt?
Well, you just can't wear a sweatshirt or a jacket. But I'm going to wear a thermal.
Can you wear 4 T-shirts?
Yes. I'm going to wear a thermal undershirt, long sleeve.
Yeah.
And then put like a dry fit T-shirt over it, and then a couple of T-shirts. And the last T-shirt has to say potatoes have feelings too.
Oh, that's right. You have to get the shirt made?
Yeah, I'll get it made. I'll probably have some fun with the shirt.
Okay.
You know, it's fine. It'll be fun. I think everyone there will be obviously know that you lost a bet or that it's a prank or something. I doubt if anybody truly gets offended in Idaho about potatoes having feelings.
I mean, one would hope that it is known as a prank.
I'm guessing that it would be pretty obvious. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, look, there's T. Higgins with another good play. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Philip in Memphis.
What's up, Philip? Good. How are you?
Good. So I was thinking about what you were just talking about with the possibility of rain in Boise.
Yep.
and being stuck in a T-shirt, just Scotch guard it.
Oh, it's a thought. Like going skiing, where you Scotch guard all your clothes.
Exactly. Just take your Scotch guard, spray the can all over it, and whatever your outer layer is going to be, and that's going to protect you from any precipitation that's going to drop down.
Well, I'll be.
Oh, how about that? That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I would not have thought of that.
I mean, you might want to tell Tyler, since after picking Arkansas's money line, he might drop down a whole hell of a lot.
Well, he only lose one unit. He's going for the kill right there. That's him taking. That's basically him going free shot. You know, we've talked about how when a team's like 6-0 and they play the number one ranked team.
If he gets it, he'll never shut up about it.
If he loses it, he just loses 1 point.
Which I don't think that's fair, considering. I mean, I know we're into the season; you can't adjust it on the fly.
I get it. You get to take.
If you're taking a crazy money line.
Yeah, but I mean, if he were to for example, if he were to get that right, suddenly I've got to start taking teams that have like a 30-point dog to try to win.
Oh, right. But my thought is, you can't stack the deck at the front end of the season and go, I'm going to take a 600-point money line and be up 6 units. Or be up, I don't know.
You can.
Because the odds are not good, you're hitting it.
Yeah, I mean, the chances that you're getting it right are not good. It's like a 15 beating a 2 in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I loved how, because I was watching live, he acted like he was trying to be the good sportsman out there and give you a fighting chance. I was like, you're not a British aristocrat from the 1800s, man. You're a rain-fueled junkie who's out here just kicking a dog when he's down.
Well, and he's got, come on, get that. Come on. He's basing that on a conversation that he's had with the current college coach. And so I know who the coach is, and so it's truly just unfair on so many levels. I'm fighting a very uphill battle, an uphill with an icy hill with worn down tennis shoes.
Yeah. I mean, at least he said he's going to go to Boise with you if.
Yeah, he wants to go with you so he can make fun of me on video. That's why he wants to go. I mean.
So it's really,
you kind of do need somebody to record the whole thing so you can turn it into a YouTube segment.
Yeah, there's no question.
Like record a bunch of it and then edit it down,
Yeah.
Lots of comedians that we all listen to do.
Yeah, that's exactly the case.
Yeah. I mean, that way you can say, hey, here's Neal from this angle, here's Neal from that angle, or here's Tyler down here being a drunk.
Yeah.
He had 18 rains before 11 a.m.
Yep.
Now, I will say, so for all those potential podcast advertisers out there, that rain stuff works, because I was way too hungover one day, and I had bought some just because of listening to the podcast. I was able to reach my keyboard from the ceiling and keep working after having just one can. I mean, those things, I'm a believer now. Those things will wake you up, and they will kill a hangover faster than anything.
Yeah, they're that for sure. There's no question about that. I mean, you drink one of those 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you won't need a mid-afternoon pickup. You're good.
Yeah, I've had the rainbow sherbet and the orange dreamsicle, and I think between the two of them, the orange dreamsicle might be my favorite. But again, that's just 2. I've got a white gummy bear out in the beer fridge, just waiting for the next time.
Cherry limeade's really good. Cherry limeade's really good. And then you got to try the ones with the extra fuel, the citronelles or whatever they're called. They're excellent.
Yeah.
The Red Dragon.
So, yeah, those are the ones that kick up your metabolism.
Yeah.
Okay, I may have to convince the wife to pick up a couple of those at the grocery store on Sunday. So do we know, changing the subject here, do we know, is Grind going to be in Oxford for the game on the 15th?
I don't know. Maybe he'll answer in the stream here. He's there. I hope so. I'd love to meet Grind in person. He's one of our, obviously been a great caller for us for years now. So I'm hopeful he makes the trip, but I don't know. He's in the stream, so maybe he'll answer.
Well, I'm sure there are plenty of people that would be happy to host him at their tent. I know.
Oh, sure.
I would think.
I don't think you've got a handle on the message board. I think he just comes on the YouTube channel.
Yeah,
we could work that out.
I think he'd be taken care of for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I know he's welcome at my spot for sure. So that's one.
Awesome.
So that might convince him to come. Plus, if Brian comes, we can almost guarantee a win, right?
Brian says if his brother comes with me, then yeah, he's going to come. So we got a couple weeks.
Brian, we got you, baby.
We got a couple weeks to work that out. So we'll see if we can't make that happen.
Yes, we do. All right. Well, thank y'all so much as always, and I'll hang up and keep listening.
All right, Philip. Thanks.
Thanks.
9:27 here on a Thursday night. It's been a week. Miami with the football, 6:13 and counting to go in the third. Trail the Cincinnati Bengals 14-12. This will be my luck. The Bengals win by 2. That's when you just know it's just not your year. It's not your year.
You
just not
it.
your year. You just go, this isn't for me. At that point, I fully expect something like Arkansas beating Alabama, at which point I just got to surrender. I mean,
At least your team's winning.
Yeah, in my mind, I've already got the white flag tweet ready to go.
Okay.
You know, just somebody waving the white flag.
That's it.
And just surrender. 'Cause I'd be down like 13, 14 units. It's
At that point,
At
pretty
that point,
insurmountable.
yeah.
You better be doing the
You're-
money lines.
Yeah, you're like needing Missouri to beat Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're taking the Vanderbilt money line against Georgia. Good luck. All right, kind of last call here. If you want to call in, we'll take your call. Otherwise, we're probably about to check out. It's been a day here at MPW Digital. We hope that you have enjoyed our content. There's a lot there. Please don't forget about Pete's Pigskin Preview. I'm going to put it up in podcast form, but seriously, it's fantastic on video. It's brought to you by Walk On Sports Bistro. It's excellent. Pete does just a fantastic job. There's a lot of other stuff there too. Got a lot of stuff in the our podcast feed. There's a football recruiting war room.
Oh,
Son of
wow.
So football recruiting, I better get the jersey out. Football recruiting war room, that's up as well. So a lot of recruiting stuff. Ole Miss has a lot of visitors coming in over the course of the weekend. They've got one commitment already. They're expecting a second one. The piece of content that's been sitting in the admin for about 6 weeks. Yeah, that's there. Yeah, so anyway, hope everybody checks all the content out. Hope you enjoy it. Again, Ole Miss and Kentucky, 11 a.m. on Saturday at Vaught Hemingway. We'll have I'll have full coverage from the game. I'll join Chase on his post-game show that will probably get started around 2:30-ish.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. So we'll see what happens. Ole Miss and Kentucky, a game we've been talking about for a long time, finally here. Again, this show has been brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. If you are in the Oxford, Tupelo area, call the people at Comer, 662-801-1777. If you're in Memphis, DeSoto County, that area, call the people at Southern, 662-429-4429. You can, that's about it. We'll be back on Monday with another edition of the Oxford Exxon podcast. Get started with a whole new week. We'll look back on Ole Miss and Kentucky and look ahead to Ole Miss's trip to Nashville to face Vanderbilt. Thanks again to Ben Mintz for joining us earlier in the show. Appreciate all of you that called in, all of you that are in the stream. Certainly appreciate you guys making us a part of your week, a part of your day. And we'll talk to you again on Saturday night. Until then, enjoy your weekend. Take care.